All right, we're in. Hello,
Oh
we're
shit.
the Big Hat Gang, and we're here to spook the ever-living crap out of you. We're 4 minutes into the waiting period, so I can say bad words like that. How's
Oh
everyone
hell
doing?
Sweet. Hey, doing
Doing
pretty
great.
good.
Thank you for
All right.
asking.
Right away, just let us know if the audio's all right, if all the screens look good. Looks like we're doing fine. Cool. Let's just go down the line a little introduction before we get into our spookin' and chillin' little session. It's more of a podcast than anything, but I'm Spooky Smith. I'm sitting here in my big old hat that's extremely sideways. I feel like it's actually like a perfect right angle there. Beautiful. Could use me for leveling buildings and stuff. I do stuff on the internet. Dieter, what are you up to?
Hey, I'm Vitamin Critter, I guess.
Last minute Dieter.
Last minute dinner, yeah. Hey, I do stuff also on the internet, oddly enough. Go by Vitamin Dieter on most platforms, make some D&D stuff, mostly animations. I also play in games much like this one.
Whatever this is, you show
Yeah.
up in them. We got Spooky Boy
Like-
Shane down the line. Sorry, I cut you.
Ah, yes. 'Tis I, Shane the Wizard, or Cool Boy Shane on YouTube and other media. Let me turn my contrast down.
Yeah,
a
what
lot.
did you what did you do? You got the like dark sparkles in the background. I hate when that happens.
Hell
with
yeah!
cameras.
I'm screwing with my potato camera.
You made it go
but,
extra potato and it looked good.
Yeah, make it look extra potatoey for Halloween. Yeah, I'm Cool Boy Shane. I make animations. I have a podcast where I've interviewed two out of the four of you. I might make that 4 out of 4 at some point if you'll allow it. I also do music and other stuff. You can find me on Twitter at CoolBoyBeebles.
Check that music out.
Yeah.
Sackman Mario, what do you do other than abducting children?
Well, that's mostly what I.
That's my main.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Thanks
that's my
for-
main thing, but I get.
That's my version of Among Us, but
It's kind of.
That's the real horror. Don't expose each other.
I do YouTube stuff. I do animations as well. I am on YouTube as Mario Sack, and I do a lot of art. You can find me on Twitter at Mario_Sack. Yeah,
nice.
pretty much all I do.
Then the only other guy who does more performative art, Falling Monk. How's it up there in the sky?
It's quite good. Again, the accent and all. Yeah, doing good. Just enjoying. Well, I celebrated Halloween yesterday, so today was more of a chill day, but excited still get to do something for it.
Nice.
And yeah. So me, I'm following with E20. I do D&D skits on YouTube and TikTok. So yeah, the end of that, that's me.
You have a
I'm the
very
guy.
large catalog on TikTok. I actually checked that out. You stay active on there, man.
Oh,
Good on you.
oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been fun and actually a pretty good challenge to try and actually keep up the videos daily. And I've missed a day or so, but I've been pretty good about keeping it daily.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple of concepts for things that we might do throughout the stream, but if you guys have any ideas, throw them down there. What
All
the
right.
hell is everyone does anyone doing for anything for Halloween, or are we just chilling here for like 2 hours and then going to bed?
The best Halloween.
Yeah.
That's not bad. Make it sound like it's not so good, but honestly,
Sounds that sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Just getting more and more
Yeah.
hype. Bed!
Fuck yeah! Finally, I can sleep.
Yeah, like I said, I just celebrated yesterday, so today was more my chill day.
Yeah.
Because Kristen's gone hanging out with some of her friends, so it was just me chilling at the house, cleaning it up after a party I had here yesterday. So yeah,
Nice. Sounds like a fun morning.
yeah. It was yeah. Me, my
Sounds like
wife
a lot went
tried
down that
to.
we can't talk about.
No, just talk about the fun morning. I come back and
Hmm.
see some of my friends are still just passed out on the couch, and it's
Hell
like,
yeah.
ooh boy.
Yeah. Sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the sign of a good party. People are passed out at the end. Good night, you guys. No,
Yeah.
I
Because
actually,
I tried to sleep. Then my dad, like the caring father he did, called me and asked me how I was doing this Sunday morning, and I'm just like in the groggiest voice ever. Good, good,
is
Dad.
your heart still
Good.
beating? Can you breathe? Okay, bye.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you going out today? Not really. It's like, okay, have a good day.
All I
Thanks,
did
Dad.
for Halloween was have a little bit of pizza, a little bit of an IPA,
Ooh.
and then just I threw on the hat, and because it was cold outside and my jacket is like still drenched from the last time I was outside, I just put on the robe. And there's a park that's like a 3-minute drive or like a 10-minute walk from my house, so I just pockets full of peanuts, and I was swarmed by crovids. I'm not sure if they're crows or ravens, and a bunch of squirrels.
Oh.
I just fed like 20 of each, and now I'm back. That was my Halloween. I did reverse trick or
nice.
treating.
Now they're in my pockets. I'm just holding on to them.
Don't be surprised if next week there's just like a squirrel on either shoulder. When the apocalypse, it's all for the apocalypse. When that stuff comes,
Just a
I'll have a
prepper.
steady food source and a lot of friends.
You just need some peanuts in your pockets and you're
You
good.
can turn one
The
peanut
Crovids
into
descend
a
on you. They
pound.
become
Yeah.
like transportation
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, if I
was-
lay down, they'll carry me up a tree.
Just like you do like a special call. You just like lean back and you're like, ah, and they just fucking.
Yeah, just
No, what I was imagining is just Logan just in a full wizard outfit going through the apocalypse, just acting like the bird lady from Home Alone 2. She just throws food on something and a swarm of rodents come upon them.
That was a horrific scene in the movie, if you think about
That
it.
is
It was.
It's like
That's
Look,
scary.
she essentially like
The guy that did Marv, he gave an actual terrified scream at that.
that is attempted murder by crows. Good on
Yeah,
her. Or it
and-
was like pigeons or something, but
Oh, they tried to meet up, the crows.
yeah. Oh yeah. They're scheduling conflicts. It was an
Yeah.
attempted murder.
It was an attempted murder.
Yeah. No, I was thinking that today.
God
just
damn
as I actually looked through
it. That snuck up on me. I was like, oh god damn.
Nope, sorry,
Yeah.
YouTube watcher, you didn't catch a game. You caught a bunch of goofs goofing. Sorry. I guess that is a game. Life's a game.
That's the ultimate trick for
What is a
for
game
this-
but a goof?
in the festive cheer.
What is a goof but a gab?
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
This-
But a goof and a goof
this
but a
does
game.
technically fit that this is a trick. We were going to do our normal thing. We're just talking and being friends.
And
It's
now
just
it's a
what we do.
trick and a treat.
And ironically, this is the largest cast we've had in season 2 so far.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could have
No.
put together a very functional game, but take one of these and one of these too. It's crazy. I have so many
Hey.
of them.
They're just on the floor.
They're all over the place, man. I gotta fucking,
Oh shit! Oh fuck!
Gotta throw it away.
yeah. Yes, it is. Thank you. Washington's actually been super nice. I was just talking about that park that I go to. There's a little piece of place that I like that's nearby. It's really cool, actually. There is a river that flows like within maybe 5 minutes of my house, so I could technically go out there and I think fish at certain like times of the day or times of the year. So I'm set
Nice.
for the apocalypse. If anyone wants to come with me, I have like a backwoods, so we could run to the hills if shit goes sour.
Yo.
That's
sounds
Logan's
pretty cool.
whole plan is slowly preparing for the apocalypse.
I love
Step 3.
yeah.
Poison my living neighbors. I'll get you guys in real quick. Don't worry about it. Housing market's gonna
Wonderful.
crash like that.
It'll be
Everything's
fine.
haunted, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
These
Is it-
houses will be super inexpensive after
really
the
cool,
poisoning.
It's really weird because there's
That's
like
gonna.
I don't want to completely dox myself by this, but there's like a Christian church across the way, and between me and that is like a bog. It's like a mud flat. And so that causes crazy, like really eerie mist to rise early in the morning. So I
Oh,
could
that's
just
kinda
stand
that's
out
cool.
there and just look at these little
Just-
Christians and just, I'm a wizard, fuck you.
I know it gets
I'm-
used so much, but that genuinely does sound like the setting for a Silent Hill game.
Oh, yeah.
Ready for it.
It's like the
Stockpiling
like-
weapons.
Yeah, stockpiling weapons. Here's all my squirrels.
My squirrel
You
call,
like-
I go like that, and they just come.
you fucking rush at somebody and you throw nuts at them and they're like, what the fuck? And then squirrels descend there.
Oh, what a nice guy. Like, I could trick people. I'd be like, you know, you got me. All the food I have is whole shell unsalted peanuts. I hope it's okay. They walk away and just dead silence.
Mhm.
A distant scream.
For some reason, I'm imagining you just in also in that wizard robe, you just open it and squirrels are just pouring out everywhere.
Like Cloak from Cloak and Dagger, the Marvel duo.
Yeah. Well, I was also thinking of Candyman, how it's just all bees under there.
Oh,
Oops, all bees.
Or
Yeah, you know,
what's the-
Candyman, he's all
Yeah.
bees.
the
That's
Harry
a story.
Partridge
What an
animation.
interesting thing for that character. Very unique. He's
Ah.
got like a pirate hook. He's got the Bloody Mary rules, and then also
Yeah.
he's made of bees.
He's
and
made
he's
of
got the
bees.
best voice of
And-
any serial killer I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I haven't
Oh,
seen
like,
that.
he's
Does he
also
have a cool
just-
voice?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
he
got
does.
the deep voice.
Oh, like what's
He's-
the TikTok singer guy that got really popular just for his voice?
The
Uh,
last,
Corpse.
I mean, I remember Tay Zonde,
Yeah.
but that's not TikTok.
Oh,
No,
Well, oh yeah, that's all Chocolate Rain. No,
Oh,
Yeah.
it's,
the
Super
corpse
Raspy.
husband, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
That.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and also Candyman's just like freaking tall as well on top of the deep voice, so he just looks menacing even without
You have something to say? to me?
everything else attached to him.
Got something against helping.
Well, see,
I don't have any. muscle
thank you for
mass.
mentioning that, actually, because I wanted to say, Logan, you've always struck me as a sort of like borderline cryptid. You're not there, but you could be.
Yes,
With
absolutely.
a little effort, you could definitely reach that status.
I already have these like ambiguous properties about me. I could sneak up behind people unintentionally, and they just don't know I'm there.
Oh, I hate when I don't
frequently
hate it,
trespass on properties, so there could be sightings of me anywhere.
I don't
can
know
do
why
the
everyone
Bigfoot
gets
turn,
surprised.
yeah.
You've got the see. That's the thing. You've got the
You're wandering in the
behavioral habits
mist.
down. You just need to like tweak. You
Bump
know
up the
the.
aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, remember that picture we took at Gen Con where your face was like
It's like
Oh.
cut off right
stretched
here.
out? Yeah.
Or the mass group one. I look like a cryptid in that too, if you look at it, because I'm like backlit by the lighting over the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
by the way, we went to Gen Con with Slender Man. No big deal.
Yeah.
Sorry you had to see the picture, but look, all of us were together. You know, bye.
Mm.
By the way.
And anytime we catch you while you're walking, you're doing the Bigfoot like, like the
Stride.
arms akimbo.
Whenever that's like my signal of like I'm headed to the restroom. I'll see you guys later. It's like you look over, like Logan was just standing there. I'm 30 feet away. I just go.
He just
I'm
That's
gone.
right.
got the full on Michael Myers effect where he's always walking, but you look away, you look back, he's just there.
Mhm.
The weirdest one I think is like when I walked in when you were like asleep because you were face down on the ground.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was talking
And your
about
legs
That's
are
not
like
even
this.
a joke.
No. Yeah. I just do that when I'm unconscious. I'll sleep like face down, like arms just under my body, like a corpse, but my legs are, they're just sticking up at a
Yeah,
90
they
degree.
just like raise.
It's not even that they're hanging, they're just straight.
They're 90
You're doing, like,
degrees,
a
much
little
like your hat,
scorpion
but in the air.
pose, like-
Yeah, I'm like a little scorpion.
Oddly, I think I saw that and my brain just like erased it until you said that just now. Like I didn't register that had happened. I was just like, "Oh." And then kept going like, "Oh, he's sleeping." I didn't like
Yeah.
it's like when you see something paranormal but you're like you don't know if it was, right? So
Yeah.
you're like,
You
"Oh,
wanna
that was probably
deny
the
it.
wind."
It's like to stop the mind break from happening, from seeing it. So
Yeah.
you keep your sanity points,
It's an
so you
Eldritch
just
thing.
forget.
Yes, actually,
Yeah. Mhm.
has anyone ever played Call of Cthulhu?
I have.
I know
No.
the whole general myth of it. I haven't played that.
Yeah. I've never
the Steam
played,
game?
but I learned that one of the characters, their superpower is that they're so dumb that when they see those
Oh.
things, like you said, they keep their sanity
They
points
can't
because they
comprehend
don't. That man was sick, like they don't know that what they're saying is just not from our world.
I know.
That's like what happened. That's me. I'm the stupid
Yeah.
guy. That's my superpower.
That's why we only get Alabama people who come back and they're like, I done saw this spaceship. They put a probe in my butt. Because people who can comprehend it, they just crack. They either turn into that or they don't survive. But,
Why are you throwing me under the bus like that, Logan?
What are you trying to
come
say?
from worse.
I saw that big old Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan.
All right.
Wait a second. You
So-
told me that stuff happens like every other week, though.
It
Like,
does.
No,
Yeah.
no, I won't deny it. Did I tell you one of my exes actually believed in Bigfoot?
I mean,
I mean,
You
that's
know,
not that weird. It's not common, but it's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
rare
I-
either.
I would be completely unfazed if they were like, yeah, Bigfoot, there was a species of monkeys that used to like fucking crazy big gorillas that just used to live up here for a while. I'd be like, yeah, no shit. Of
I mean,
course they did.
Gigantopithecus is just that, but yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did that
It's-
little video on it where it's like, yeah, it's probably just someone trying to avoid bear attacks while walking through the woods. Like they're just wearing a big monkey.
A bear
Like,
costume.
That's horrifying. No fucking like bobcat's gonna attack you if you look like that. If you look like Bigfoot, like you're a
If you do the
cryptid to
Bigfoot
nature.
pose, like
You're
if
The,
you-
cryptid
the
to
you're
bobcat's
mad-
gonna
if you're
be all
like
like, "Oh, that's Bigfoot."
Yeah, it's like
If you're like a
I'm
massive,
Bigfoot.
if you're just a massive dude in an ape suit and you like do the pose where you turn around and look at the
Mhm.
bobcat, it's gonna stop and it's gonna
Oh,
run
yeah.
away.
No, I'm pretty sure they disintegrate if you get it just right and you look at
Yeah.
Yeah. The cut
With the
screens,
reverb.
them. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can.
Oh,
It's gonna take me a second. Don't wait on me.
How dare you?
Actually,
just a big smart monkey.
the amount of time it would take me would kill the joke. Never mind.
I was gonna go put on my Bigfoot costume, you know.
It's gonna turn
I
around.
was gonna slip into something more comfortable.
You know, we were all gonna fully commit, but
Yeah.
I mean, I got the crocodile hunter outfit just kind of on, so
We'll
I'm
wrestle
ready
you
to
You're like,
around.
yeah, you're like halfway there.
Yeah.
If people
Yeah.
didn't know what One Piece was, they probably guessed Crocodile Hunter.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
that's actually what I was originally going for. And then I just want to keep the hat theme going, so I got this hat. But I actually had to
Nice.
snake this little makeshift crocodile hunter outfit.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, are you gonna do an Ace also Boa Hancock fusion?
Oh hell yeah!
The crossover we didn't know we needed.
Yeah,
No, that's
I mean,
his
Ace-
Britney
Ace went to
Spears
too many
cosplay.
albums already. Yeah.
I mean,
Crocodile
also
Hunter
fits
fell
because-
into One Piece world.
it
Isekai
fits because there's
into
so
One
many. Yeah, it just fits because there's so many theories of who Ace might have got with. Because I remember that was a theory for a while that Ace had a kid before he passed away, kind of
I
like
mean-
Roger did.
Maybe. Still, jury's still out on that one.
That's gonna be like a Baruto follow up. It's like, yeah, Ace is cool. I
I
had
mean,
a really stupid idea for a concept, just if anyone has one. So there's like a shit ton of superhero powers out there, right? Like basically everything's covered. Has anyone thought of unique ideas for superheroes that you personally haven't heard of yet?
Yes.
Shoot for it,
Okay.
because I've got like two.
All right. First one, since we're on the topic of monkeys, turning inorganic material into simians.
Specifically,
Specifically.
simians.
Yeah,
Specifically
monkeys and
monkeys.
apes.
Inorganic, like dead matter.
So you can't turn a person into a monkey.
No.
You have limits,
Right.
right?
Okay.
But you're like some guy in an alley pulls you in, pulls a gun on you. He's like, "Give me all your money." You turn that into a rhesus monkey, and, and it's just the guy like you're good. You know? Oh, he's got
You
a
have
knife.
like
Yeah,
a-
that's a little pygmy marmoset. You know, like
you have like a crinkled ape finger wand and you point it at them.
right. And then like, oh, they run to their getaway car. Two gorillas. They
too
beat
bad.
the shit out of them.
They rip him to shreds. Or like, oh no, I'm lost in the woods. Better pick up this stick. Oh, howler monkey. Bam.
Right.
Come to me.
And so, yeah, actually, I never thought about how, like some of that
His
utility, but like,
yeah.
and I would think like, so like, you know, there's some question about cleanup and stuff. I would imagine it's
That
like
and-
transfiguration rules. Like it, after 5 minutes, they go back to their normal form, and it takes
Yeah.
like
they
your own
return-
personal
okay,
energy
yeah.
to keep doing it.
So you'd
maybe?
be at like half power while there's a monkey out, kind of thing. Like
Oh
you
yeah, or
divert
like
your
you
life
could do
force
it,
to
but
the
eventually you
monkeys.
get tired, and you're like you can't do it anymore because you've been doing it
What
like
if
all these
What's
times.
what's a group
What
of
if-
monkeys called?
a troop or
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I feel like
Beans.
yeah.
It'd just be called
The
Trooper.
monkeys?
Yeah, Trooper.
well, what if
you go.
so?
Mhm.
What if somebody's in that car scenario? What if someone's trying to get away in a car? Can you turn the car into a monkey while they're inside the car?
That's
Yeah,
also going
they
at
would
80
would
miles an
appear out
hour.
like the car would poop, pop almost like
okay.
a poof. Like
Okay.
I
it would
I
just
was
suddenly
wondering-
be however the equal mass of the car is to
Yeah.
monkeys. You could turn it into a bunch of monkeys or like a few big gorillas, and they'll just start rolling on the
It
pavement,
just
and then
it just
go
has to be
nuts.
equivalent exchange.
'Cause-
I would
Yes,
think
yes.
that
Yeah.
if the monkeys get hurt, you get a little bit hurt. It's kind of like what's the
Hey,
JoJo
it's
like a
guy with
stand
Harvest?
ability.
Yeah, like Harvest.
Yeah, like
if a
hard.
farm
Yeah,
starts
yeah.
to die, you get hurt. So
Well, but the thing is,
if you
that
do
would
that on a
it-
moving car, all those gorillas are gonna get scraped up, and you're just gonna just start bleeding.
Yeah,
and
if that was the
Oh,
limitation,
God,
though,
oh.
you couldn't use it for defense as much because if they tried to shoot, like let's say, you like gorillas protect me, and then like someone shot the gorilla and you just got shot, right?
Mhm.
Like then,
yeah,
It's
well,
only a fraction of
yeah.
the damage.
So
though.
it depends
So-
on like
Okay.
probably how big the gorilla is, or like how big the monkey that got shot is, and how many you have out at the time. So like if you have
And
3
so-
gorillas, that's like a quarter of a gunshot wound to you. I would think.
Like if
You
you
divide it by the number of monkeys
Yeah,
you have
if you have
summoned.
like a
If
bunch
you
of
keep
marmosets,
spawning
like little
recess
ally
monkeys.
Yeah, recess.
Is that our
Yeah.
new American standard of weight per monkey?
Presidian.
WPM.
Yeah. All right.
Wait for
Also,
monkey.
that's my thought is what's the limit to it? Because could you potentially turn the actual Earth into a monkey?
I feel
Well-
like that's like your ultimate move.
Monkey
Yeah.
planet.
That you
Monkey.
sacrifice your
Monkey.
life to
Yeah.
turn the earth into a giant ape god.
For like 1
Final
second.
ape.
Final ape.
That's
Final
that's
ape.
this character's goal is just everything is monkey. Return to monkey. That's the
Return
whole.
to-
That's the
yeah.
name of the anime.
It's
I mean,
literally
That
Planet
would
of the
be
Apes.
sick. I want to
I
write
Done
that.
a
I
holy
think it's a
journey.
very cool ability that no one would expect,
No,
and no
Yeah.
one would have a countermeasure for. Really, like
no, because it's so diverse. Like it's versatile.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
very crazy and random, and like yeah, you're not invincible. If someone gets the jump on you, you're fucked. But like, if they think you're just a regular Joe Schmo, and then suddenly monkeys. Even Superman would be surprised, like, "Whoa, what?" You know,
But it
might give you a moment to escape or something.
It would give him a second, but like the moment he bashes in that monkey, your lips bleeding and you're done.
Yeah,
well, I
you're
mean,
kinda
but that's
got-
the thing. If
Yeah.
you're going up against Superman, you better be a powerful monkey
Yes.
mancer. All right,
Yeah.
like you better not just be
April
some garden
Mancer.
variety.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. Now we got to do the nerd thing and bring it back to Superman. So do the monkeys count as magic? Because if they're not magic, they can't beat Superman.
these are
That's
clearly
how it
magic.
Wait, do they
works.
have
this is
to be-
magic.
This is
this is
absolutely
absolutely
magic.
because
Is
it's
that how it
Yeah, this is
transfiguration,
absolutely
right?
magic.
This is
Yeah, that's a
no, yeah, it's transmogrification.
or transmutation or whatever
Transmutation, yeah.
version of that. Yeah.
Transmunkification.
Transmogrification.
Right.
What if
Transprimation.
Do the
What
monkeys
if
have
you-
+1 fist though?
what if
Well, then
what if
Superman
you
loses.
distract Superman too? Because you can, if it's all inorganic material, what if you turn his shirt into a monkey?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's
Make
like,
him naked!
Everyone's like, wait, that's
Then
like
everyone
everyone
would
know
know
his
Pants or
identity because
something.
Superman, his other job we all know is a porn star. So if
Yeah.
people are like, oh, that's Bruce Banner, he's
They call him, they call him Clark Block because of his
Let's.
The-
Oh wow. Let's
That's the
let's
modern
just
plot is.
let's
That's the modern
clarify
plot that
this.
Kent Farm isn't doing good, so he opens an
because
OnlyFans.
I've got a follow up one that would be fun.
There are like classes of how good a power is, right?
Yes.
And that would like put you in the tier of whether like you're like a world saving hero or villain, you know, whatever you want to do, or if you're just sort of like I'm robbing banks because who's gonna fucking fight against the monkey man, right?
I feel
Um,
like it would like start out as like a low tier and then hit mid tier.
Yeah.
Like the more he
I
had
think
the
that's-
power, I
yeah.
don't think he would hit like world saving. I don't think
It's
that
like
close.
Riddler level.
He's
'Cause
like
Riddler didn't even have powers. He was just
hero.
It's probably a bit above Riddler. It's
Yeah,
because Joker's
yeah.
at full complexity. You can't approach that. It's like it's better than Big Wheel. Okay, we're thinking
Wait.
this could be Doc
Big
Ock
Wheel?
level. I think.
okay.
Like Doc Ock.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. It could be, and it doesn't have to be, right? It's like whatever you want to use
Yeah.
the monkeys for. And you get them for 5 minutes per thing. And then, so there's limitations. It's not like I can just blink and the universe stops existing, So it's not like,
Yeah. it's not
there's
reality
rules you got to
manipulation or
follow.
anything.
Yeah, you would just have like a little bag with you as your like suit that's just full of like ball bearings. You could be like monkeys.
Those would be the tiniest
start
little
touching-
What
monkeys,
if-
they start
though.
touching
Okay,
the
yeah,
wall.
'cause-
Well, they're
yeah.
heavy.
Does the
So
mass
monkeys
does
just
the
pop out
mass
of the
matter?
ground. It does, yeah.
Does-
I think it's
Yeah,
mass.
yeah.
So if you had really dense but small volume things,
Oh,
you could
okay.
like
What
use
if-
those as sort of mobile
That'd
monkeys
be
on
cool.
demand.
What if the monkeys are just like
It's so weighted
constructs that
down.
are made out of material? They
That's-
can only take on the
So
form
their
of
their
apes.
skin is similar to what you turned them out of.
Yeah. So like if you throw like little marbles at them, they're like
That's
little
metal
marble
monkeys.
monkeys.
They're little glass monkeys.
Okay.
That's a whole different power, though. At that
Yeah,
point, you're
well-
handling material.
Kryptonite
You're
monkeys.
shaping
that
it
would
into
that would
monkeys.
make more sense in the sense of you're not actually changing the property of the matter you're transforming. You're only changing the shape and giving it the ability to move and follow
Yeah.
commands, right? Which is still a lot, but it's not like a biological creature anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing this fucking scene of fucking Ha, you think you got me, Superman? Kryptonite gorilla. He's just
It just goes fucking ape shit. kills him.
Literally.
it fucking rips his arm off.
That
It's
is
just
probably
like-
Superman's worst nightmare. Is the ape
That-
beast on
Yeah,
Earth.
living
Mario, I
sentient
think-
kryptonite.
I think that actually would be an A tier like villain
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
change
okay.
because like you're limited by what you have, but if you get, I mean, anyone can
I
get
like that this guy
access
is
to
no longer
rare
a
shit
hero.
if they're
This is
smart
a villain.
enough.
No.
This is-
All right, and also
He's testing
think about
his
in
power.
DC. There's 2 ape-themed villains I can think of. 3 actually I can think of off the top of my head. There's just the ape that chills with the Brotherhood of Evil. There's a Gorilla Grodd who's just
Gorilla Grodd.
telepathic
Oh, yeah,
monkey.
Gorilla
Then
Grodd.
there's Gorilla who's just a monkey with a gun.
I feel
Then
like
there's
he would
Magilla
win.
gorilla.
Oh yeah, Magilla gorilla. And
Oh,
then
I forgot
there's
about
Boots.
Biggest biggest
I-
villain.
I have one runner-up power
Okay.
to this. It's a small one.
runner-up.
It's
Yeah,
more of
go
like
ahead.
a mundane
Yeah.
power that I wish I had because of a pet peeve of mine. If I'm driving or in a car and I see someone flick out their cigarette butt, I pop one of their tires. That's it. That's all I can do.
I like that. Petty superpowers would be the best. If you could just
Right.
get like really like very situational, very your own perception based powers, that'd be awesome.
You never like
Still,
get
like-
identified or anything because it's such a tiny inconvenience to other
Yeah.
people that it's like that's not a superpower. And,
And no one would ever know that it was me. They would just be like, "There's a high,
That's a
weird, like there's a
inconvenience
weird
power.
thing that happens around you where people's tires pop. That's strange." Like,
something-
yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Mhm.
Stuff
in
like
this
that.
area.
It's just like, probably happens a
I've
lot.
really
Maybe you're just
I've really-
you're putting 2 and 2 together, but you're wrong. It's like a theory.
I really like the idea of powers that are only good in very specific situations. Ever since I started reading JoJo, I've gotten
Yeah.
more into that idea of just
Oh my god.
oh man, stupid ass like I like very specific ability, but if you get these circumstances to go off, this is super strong. This is
Yeah, I
a
like
sick
those.
ass ability.
Like the,
Yeah.
oh, it's like a sand trap, like a sand pit kind of thing, where it's like
Yeah.
you're standing on the precipice. The moment I get you in, this power is death, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Mm.
The thing,
So I was
the
thinking,
one I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
there's this a specific power, like obviously invisibility is an extremely common power. So at first I was thinking like the inverse of what if you could never make yourself invisible, but things that you touch willfully can turn invisible permanently.
Mm.
So everything around you, you can make invisible. And the more and more I thought about it, I was like, holy shit, this is an incredibly powerful mime supervillain.
Wait, you make other things invisible, but not yourself.
Mimed us.
So his base would be an empty lot. That is this like insane artillery mansion that he can do whatever the hell he wants in. Because he's brought all this stuff in that no one knows is there. No one can see it. Like he could just like pull out like bridges and stuff and just like He could make bridges vanish, and you wouldn't know that they were there ahead of time before the fight. And he'd just walk up, and you're like, "Where the hell are you going? Why can't I shoot you anymore?" Kind of
So
stuff.
he doesn't,
Wow.
he doesn't actually like he doesn't create these things with mime abilities. He just turns them invisible and he has a mime motif.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
no, nothing is
Okay.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because-
okay.
We
So
need
Yeah,
to come
just
up with a
remember
name.
Subversion.
Mime touch.
Yeah.
Mime dis-
Mime
Mime
dis-
Mime
touch.
That's good.
Good. That's good.
That's pretty
I
good.
remember
I like that.
there was
That's
a
mime.
minor recurring villain in Shaolin Showdown who literally was just a mime that could create things he mimes out.
That's pretty good. But the concept of like, I just picked up a rocket launcher. It's like, that guy's insane. He's standing there completely naked. What is he doing? And then he just fucking blows you to smithereens.
I'm fucking picturing this guy in like a getaway car, and you just see him floating. He's just like,
Crazy,
Yeah.
like Crazy Frog.
He's like, brim, brim, brim.
Now,
Wow.
here's a question though for Mime Dis Touch, right?
Mhm.
Can Mime Dis see the things that he turns
Yes,
invisible?
that's
Or
fundamental
she turns
to him.
invisible.
Oh, okay, then
Okay,
that's
okay.
way more useful. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Because
Yeah.
that way they could be inside their invisible getaway vehicle that
Yes.
has like rockets attached and
And he
press
can
a
see all the-
button
yes.
and know exactly what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's what
Okay.
makes him like super crazy powerful. Is essentially if you enter that empty lot and you find the entry, you're in Mindus's world. Like this
Right.
entire reality that he's created is you're just subject to it. That'd be impossible to traverse as a dungeon.
Yeah, because I imagine he'd be the best of basically dungeon maker ever. Because imagine
Yeah.
he could just have an entire room full of bear traps you couldn't see.
Yeah. He's just like, why don't you scoot over there? Why don't you walk this way?
I think this would also be confined to inorganic material.
Mm.
You couldn't
See,
You
just,
I'd
have to make
this
those
gun
stipulations.
invisible.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to make
There
those stipulations because otherwise some powers just become way too powerful.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah. Uh-huh.
this power very much depends on the person using it. Obviously, I think that they would have a really long, like effect time. I think it could be kind of like a fruit where if they get knocked unconscious, then everything comes back.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
that makes sense.
But otherwise, as long as they're conscious, or like if they willfully intend it to stay while they're asleep, then it can still stay in effect. But if they get like their lights knocked out, then everything goes back.
Would it remain invisible if they would get unconscious, have the visibility, and then gain consciousness back? Would it like flip back to invisible, or do they have to
no,
go
they
and
would have
touch
to
it
They
again?
would have to restart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
got to be touch, so they have to actually make physical
You have to
contact with their
physically
skin
touch it,
on
yeah.
whatever it is with
I
it.
think,
Yeah.
I think the rate, like the specificity of their power, is about their personal identity of what an object is. So they can pick a building or they can pick a clump of dirt, but they can't be like I picked the whole earth because that's too abstract. It has to be
Right.
like
Right.
a conscious thing, like a noun essentially. that
Yeah,
understand-
they have to
that
choose.
they
Also-
understand. Yeah.
It'd have to be a solid object too, because liquids are always moving, and I feel like because of that
Yeah.
constant motion,
they
they
couldn't do
break
liquids or
away
gases.
from like the power couldn't
Yeah.
wrap around it.
So
You know what I mean?
This is one of those things where you could like spray them or cover stuff with like paint, and then
You're
before it
right.
dried.
Oh, yeah.
Flower.
But no,
Yeah.
if you did like flour, yeah, it would be the same invisibility thing of like it would coat it and then it would vanish quickly. I think. So like you could
Okay.
still
Oh,
pick
so
it,
it keeps reaching out.
because it wouldn't like dust accumulation wouldn't ruin this guy's plans. That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
Ah,
time.
we've spotted the bridge. It's the thing with the floating bird shit all the way on top of it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you would
actually,
be able to see the birds.
I think
okay.
so.
Sitting on things.
On
Like
dust
caterpillars and
accumulation,
shit.
I think it's a good idea to be able to have a way around. So like if someone had like sand or something to kind of see where an object was, I think that makes sense. I feel like if something was invisible for long enough, and
I would think.
he just didn't touch it, I think
Yeah.
dust would encase it. But then he could always just
Okay.
touch it again, and it would encase the dust.
Yeah, or maybe he
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
an
'cause-
aura of consciousness where like if he hasn't been here in a while, then it's like that. But if it's like within maybe a half a mile radius, then it's always just he's like choosing not to do that.
Yeah.
Like in that
I would
getaway
think that-
car situation.
Yeah, like-
everything that slowly touches it
Yeah.
will then also start to.
Yeah, stuff like
Yeah, 'cause-
within that radius. It's like if you throw flour on an object, you get like maybe 6 seconds of that's where it is because the outline's there, and then when it falls, it's gone.
Like a cool down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's That's something I was wondering as well. How piercing is it? Like, you touch something with a
Oh.
gun that has a lot of intricate parts. Would the bullets be visible? But
That's
the
what I was
gun's
saying. Is
invisible?
it's
yeah.
confined to his own concept of what the noun is.
So
So he
someone
can pick
real
a house or a gun, and he can select like not having the bullets kind of thing.
Right.
so
Selective
somebody
consciousness.
had a really good sort of stipulation here.
Mhm.
Isn't dust dead skin cells primarily, and isn't that organic?
It's
Mhm.
not.
So would that get around?
No.
I would say dead material.
Yes. The
like
moment
that
there are no
is
proteins
probably
or neurons
fine.
firing, then yeah. Because
Yeah,
technically all of the soil in the earth is dead plant material, dead animal material. That's
Right.
almost 100%.
I guess
what
yeah,
all minerals
organic
are.
is the wrong word. Maybe just like
Alive.
living.
anything
yeah.
that's not currently living.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
definition of living for this power, I think, would just be like active.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair.
So he could probably do computers, but like that's a specific thing. It's like if it has active proteins that are doing
Wait.
whatever, like
Right.
organic life. Yeah.
So someone said you could just be a little wizard, but it's like that's too easy.
Yeah.
We're doing like specific powers. Like
Yeah,
you only
specific
get one
powers.
thing.
Yeah, you get one thing that you
Yeah.
need to be like really creative with.
I
Um,
Oh no, go ahead, Chuck.
I had one that I was messing around with for something I was writing where I
Hmm.
basically thought it'd be cool if literally the inside of someone itself is its own pocket dimension, like they could at will just
Oh.
absorb.
like that.
Like Kirby.
Like
Yeah,
Kirby.
or
Oh,
It's like
there's Hammer Space,
Well-
the cartoon concept. Of
Yeah,
you
the-
have a
yeah.
pocket that you can willfully pull anything out of, kind of.
yeah, that's
oh, yeah.
what I was thinking because yeah, that's a idea I had for that story was there was a thief named Pockets and literally just everything she did she could grab something and absorb it into her. And
So,
she
yeah,
doesn't
let's-
take on any properties of it like Kirby,
Mhm.
but basically she could recoil and move something at will. But she has to be conscious she does it.
Isn't that similar to? I'm sorry to detract.
Was it?
The Wapol from One Piece. The guy
Yeah.
who
Oh,
can eat
yeah.
things and incorporate them
Wow,
into his
but they
body.
have to like eat it themselves.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
so
like,
the
yeah,
question then
yeah, what are
becomes:
the
do
specifics?
you create extra dimensional spaces?
Mhm.
Are they on your person? Do you have to actually, like a cartoon, ingest the thing?
Are
or
they like based on your finger alone, or like can it be anywhere?
yeah.
No, I imagine just as long as their body comes in contact with it, they can
Okay.
absorb it.
So flesh.
Oh, okay.
So
Like
yeah,
the okay, another One Piece reference, like the
Yeah.
caribou, the mud man who can put stuff into his,
Yeah.
he can turn into mud and
Oh,
like
yeah.
absorb shit.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Caribou's, yeah, that guy.
But
yeah.
I mean, maybe you don't turn into mud. Maybe you're limited by how
Yeah.
big you actually physically are. So like,
So
Yeah,
like
I
you
could-
wouldn't be able to absorb like a piano or anything because that has you're like a
Yeah.
door or a window. So if you T-posing can't consume something, then you can't. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I was-
that's
so,
what
like-
I imagine.
like
I
if
was
you
thinking
wanted,
of it
oh
as,
sorry,
like- I was thinking.
Yeah, I was
of it
imagining
as,
kind of the
like-
limit
okay.
is basically something bigger than them. Like if they couldn't like palm it or something, they couldn't do it. Like if it was a long object, maybe it could slowly absorb it. But
So it's like
Mhm.
it's like a
Mm.
hand-based specific.
yeah,
okay.
So it's like
Okay.
It's like if
Like that
it's
guy
like
from
if their skin
Inuyasha.
was a-
The black hole in his
Oh,
palm
the
guy.
black hole guy.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it
It's-
is. This is interesting, yeah. But
Well,
he can't
maybe-
expel anything, can he? It's all just absorb.
Well, I mean,
yeah,
that's
think
the
it
thing.
all
He
absorbs.
deletes it.
I feel like powers, especially ones that have a lot of questions like that, should be able to evolve and start limited, and then as you get more powerful, is scoping. Like for example, telepathy. When people get telepathy, I guess, or when they start with it, they hear surface thoughts and they can't filter them out, and they're like, ah, fuck.
Yeah.
But then, like, you become Professor X after so many years, where you can like
Yeah.
mind
Yeah.
control
It's
people and do some really
exploration
fucked
of
up
your own-
shit.
Seizure.
Yeah, your limitations. It's you.
Yeah.
You get the chance to kind of develop and define those
Yeah.
limitations.
Mhm.
Adjacent to that, the one other power that I had has no limitations because of how stupid it is. And there are a lot of powers that you can think of like that, where it's like, oh, this is so one-dimensional, we can't beat it. Like, you just can't beat it. But it's a stupid power. So the idea, I think the character would be called Wayfinder. And essentially, when they pick a location, they can beeline it, and anything in their way gets interrupted. So they
Well,
can literally, like, directly, if you look at, like, the Earth is spherical or slightly pear-shaped, it's like they can go from here to here And if they're walking across the ocean, land forms in front of them. If they go through a building, the building reshapes to create a dome going, that they can go through. Like tunnels and stuff. They could just go at the exact whatever elevation they choose, or just whatever is appropriate for the time. So they might like have to go over bridges and stuff. But they can go, and nothing can stop them. But once they get there, they're useless. It's like you
It's like, well, here I'm here already.
You're like, I have a Wayfinder power. I'm gonna go to 7-Eleven.
Well, when you say
your wall
when you say
just
when you say nothing can stop him, is it like Juggernaut, where as soon as he gets going, nothing can stop him, or is it just things just work for them, where things
I think
reality will bend to help him?
It's more like Domino, where it becomes a lot more abstract and it doesn't have anything to do with you. It's just like the world works around, like a door is constantly in front of you, and it reshapes the environment around you to fit that door exists there always, kind of thing.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
If a train is coming
like
by while you're doing this,
then you would probably create like a natural, like the bridges that they make over trains.
Oh, okay.
It would be kind of like that.
Now, would those pathways stay after you arrive? Or...
I think they would, and that would be a problem with the power.
Okay.
It's like the moment you activate it and start walking, that path is going to go until you pick a different destination or stop.
Okay. So essentially, he would just be a menace to infrastructure.
It essentially, it would be like a whimsical menace where it shifts the infrastructure. It's still relatively functional. It's just everything's really different.
Yeah.
No, I'm just imagining the government trying to get on your side of just like, look, I just need you to go this far underground and start walking forward and dig us a bunch of tunnels across the U.S. and just...
I got a name for this guy.
Not Wayfinder?
Wayfinder's good. Shit.
No, what were you gonna say?
One with alliteration. I had an idea. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
The
where it
Vector
came from.
Vandal. I feel like Wayfinder is the hero name. The Vector Vandal's the villain name.
That's when he makes the does what Slop does in Full Metal
One of them
Alchemist
has an
Brotherhood,
internal
and just
conflict. The other one just says, "Fuck the system. I'm going.
I'm
to
gonna
Taco
go
Bell."
everywhere.
I'm
Yeah.
the
If
Vector
anything,
Man.
I like the idea of the villain being unaware that he's causing trouble, or he's just bumblefucking his way through stuff. He's just kind of like, I'm just walking, man.
Yeah.
Like, just
I'm walking.
fires.
He's like, you guys don't have this power too, man. That sucks.
It's like, oh, I thought everyone could do
just
this.
get places.
Dang.
Lucky
Oh.
me.
I like the idea that he doesn't name himself the Vector Vandal. He just his name's Terry or something, and everyone calls him that. He's like, that's not my name.
It comes.
Is
from
it kind
just,
of like
the
Bosch the
technical
Stampede, where she
community.
gets thrown on him by the public?
It shows up on websites. Land surveyors hate him.
Every time they take pictures of him, he's casually just waving at people. He's like,
He'd be like Forrest Gump when he was running across you. He'd get like a bunch of followers, always following in the paths that he makes.
They would be like, he is the truth, the light, and the way. He's like, the way is to Taco Bell. It's like a half a mile away.
God, what's that one guy that does those animations where there's like this king that's just this really chill dude, and there's this green goblinoid thing.
Joel Haver, I think.
Joel Haver.
Yeah, Joel Haver. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just picturing like his followers are like the little green goblin things, where they're just like they're into the mayhem, and he's like, huh? No. Like,
He's like, oh shoot, I'm not liquid right now.
I'll just felt like running.
Do you guys have like a couple bucks? Look, they have a new combo out. I didn't think that they would have that yet.
Right. People just start like, hey
you
man,
spot
I'll
me?
give you like this much if you like just go to this one
Imagine
place.
if like a person like Jesus was just kind of like he just gypped people. He was just like, hey man. So my
Hey, let
daddy's
me
got
bu-
like
let me
I
bump
know
5
the
bucks.
kingdom of heaven.
Uh,
We'll all get there, I promise. But
Oh,
if you
God.
if you paid me like
Literally.
$6 right now, you'll be up there, man. You know, you
Yeah,
can
you'll
take my
get-
seat
you'll-
for a day.
You'll get a good place. You'll get a good seat.
Look, the rich
You'll get some
aren't
good awards in heaven, that's
something rich don't go to heaven. So like,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, cast
You give me
aside all
some
your
of that-
belongings. I'll pick a couple of them up. You know, they got new cheese sauce. It's like,
I'll get you back, I promise. And they're like, oh sure. And then someone's like, they don't have a job. How are they gonna get you back? It's like,
his dad created like everything.
Do you know his dad? Do you know my father?
No.
I didn't have like a superpower, but I had like a hero, I guess, in mind where it was very jokey. His name was Dead Man, and
Dead Man?
the Dead Man. The idea
Dead Man.
behind it,
Oh,
yeah, dead.
defender of the life, man.
The idea behind it is that he's just a skeleton, but wherever he happens to be, crime is foiled. Like
He's just
It's so good.
It's like King, but better from
Wait. Crime, like legal stuff, or just like
people,
morally
people
bad things?
trying to do things that are like immoral.
Okay,
I
so he's
guess.
talking unethical, which
Okay.
means to harm
Yeah.
another person.
Yeah.
So-
So things like for example, like someone's doing a bank robbery or something for like to fund their like villain lair or something, and then the police are like dead. We called Dead Man. When is he getting here? And then it just cuts to the villain being like, I foiled Dead Man. You'll never. And then a skeleton just busts through the ceiling. Like it's not sentient. It's just a skeleton.
Oh, it's just
It's not even a person. That's a
It's like a
skeleton?
token
No.
of a totem.
It's just a skeleton.
It's
Like
just
it's
like-
just
it's just-
a literal skeleton.
I was legit thinking it was just a guy that was,
Yeah.
Trying to just
Right.
live his life as
Joe
a skeleton.
Schmo. Yeah.
No, no.
I really
Works
that
at a
threw me
coffee
for a
shop.
loop for a second. I'm picturing like this fucking college assembled skeleton just crashing through the ceiling.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And
So
it's he's looking at Dead Man and he's like, I've been trying to do this for a while, Dead Man. I know all the exits. You'll never get me. And then somehow
move.
like the lights turn off. The lights turn back on.
It's a JPEG every time. It's
It's just sprawled over. It's like
Yeah.
the
Like,
Family
they're
Guy
talking
death
to
pose.
it with such vindication. They're
And
like,
you can tell
"Fuck you, dead man."
like
Yeah.
the lighting is changing. There's like maybe helicopters going around, but it cuts to Dead Man and he's still a JPEG.
Yeah,
no
it's
particle effects.
It's
Have,
just an outside JPEG.
Have any of you seen that thing that was kind of going around Twitter of like this old skeleton cartoon where one white skeleton walks in and then a red skeleton walks in and it does this like swagger walk? That's Dead Man. Just does this like little swagger walk into anywhere and foils crime.
Or like his supervillain like living man.
Yeah.
So how do the cops call him though? Do they just send up a back signal, but it's literally just a skeleton?
It's a
dance again?
skull.
He would have to have like a keeper. Or
Mm.
Yeah,
someone
well, no.
just- There's another superhero who just has a really long rope.
Just dragging him along the entire time.
There's Dead Man.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a team of people that have dedicated themselves to keeping Dead Man around.
They don't have
The image
superpowers. They
finds
have
his way.
mundane skills that gets him wings.
Okay, and also, it is harm crime, so it isn't just someone's about to jaywalk and he rips off his femur
Right.
and breaks their
No,
leg, right?
No.
it's moral crime.
Yeah, moral crime.
Okay.
Or like someone's holding someone hostage and they're
I think it's
you can't do
exclusive
this,
to-
Dead Man.
Yeah, intentional transgressions against other people's rights. That's
Okay.
the core of it.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
where Dead Man appears as a JPEG.
Yeah, it's a JPEG to save the day.
What
I
is the
would
origin
like
of
a
Dead
white
Man?
collar crime gets committed and he just breaks into an office building and just starts destroying it with a baseball bat.
But he's just like dead in the corner of the main
Yeah, because that's the thing. He's not active.
No.
Like he doesn't do anything. It's like all of a sudden they just see a skeleton and they're like, "Oh, that's Dead Man, dude. You gotta stop
Yeah.
doing whatever you're doing."
I
Like,
imagine it's almost like if we were to see this, it would be surreal because he would be in the same pose like the
Yeah.
other JPEGs, but the
Yeah.
setting changes to be exactly wherever he is.
I'm picturing like, because it's not
Same
necessarily,
lighting.
it's just by circumstance that it's because I'm picturing like a guy sticking somebody up as they're about to try to get away with the money. They take a step while they're looking at the cashier. And as they take a step, they step on this fucking prop skull and they slip. And it's like this skeleton that's just on the ground. And he's like, "What the fuck? Oh,
It's the exact moment he hits the ground, his entire gun just empties the clip. It like juddies
yeah. Or
all
it's
the
like-
money flies back into the dump.
Yeah,
skeleton
slip all the
man.
money like piles
Yeah.
on neatly. Or just trying to have like I forgot what it's called, but like yeah, like someone holding someone hostage, just like you'll never get me, dead man. Like I have a hostage, you need to like let me go. It cuts to dead man not saying anything,
Yeah, it's
just
like, mhm.
like and it cuts back to the
Facing
guy, and he's
other
like,
way.
yeah, he's like, no, you don't understand. Like I have to get going.
Oh yeah,
Cuts back to
it's like a conversation.
yeah, it cuts back to the guy, and he's like, oh, you're right, dead man. I can't do it. I've never been able to do it. I'll turn myself in.
It's a full like genuine talk down where he's like, "This isn't what I wanted my life to be. I
Yeah.
wanted to be a painter. I didn't see myself here." He breaks down.
Yeah.
They stare into the sockets, and like it's just they're
like
coming
Ghost
to their
Rider,
own
but good.
conclusions. Just-
Yeah. It's like they're having a conversation with themselves in their mind. It's just a
Yeah.
skeleton.
It's like you have these long pauses where they're like, "Stop looking at me like that," and it's just a skull sprawled.
It's just the jaw is like
It's lower resolution because it's zoomed in on the JPEG.
yeah.
All right. I like that. It's
That's
such an absurd idea. I love it.
that's a force of nature.
It is
That's
horrific.
like that's just the universe, like exerting natural laws. Like that's not even. Do we call that a superhero, or do we just call that like gravity?
He's like
You know
a
what I
magic
mean?
item.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
He's
oh, yeah,
actually.
Roaming
Initially, I said he
magic
was
item.
like a totem.
Yeah.
Just a force of nature, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I had one other idea. I think I'll base it on layout, but after that we'll go on break and then we'll regroup. We might come back.
Alright.
I don't know. We'll see how everyone's feeling. My headphones are falling off, so I'll have to change hats regardless. But I was thinking we should put together like a monster based on like each of us gets a part.
Okay.
Ooh.
Mhm.
So I'll do the head. I think Dieter will do one of the arms. Shane will do another of the arms. Mario will do the torso,
dead.
and then Mario. Wait, I forgot how I was going to do this.
Are we making a Voltron monster, and we're
Yes,
just
we
going to
are.
describe our parts?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll do the head. Dieter does. Let's do. Dieter does the torso. Shane does an arm. Fallen Monk does an arm, and then Mario does the torso. Is that right?
Oh, okay.
Did I say torso?
Wait,
twice?
you said torso
See,
twice.
torso
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah, Mario, you do the legs. You do the mobility.
Okay, cool.
This is hard to do because it's like it's not even on the layout.
Yeah.
I don't have a brain.
Okay. And I got the left arm, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take right.
Okay.
I'll take the conservative arm.
Oh no.
Okay.
The dominant hand.
I'm thinking like
We'll name it this Voltron creature Republitron. Yeah, that's it.
Probably
Democratron.
Democracy.
So I'm thinking the head is kind of like a stony, like a barracuda. You know the fish where it moves like insanely fast, so it's very like linear. It has crazy jagged teeth, very hunter-like
Yeah.
eyes. I'm thinking it's like really stony, and it has like a bunch of like ridiculous stony frills that go down its back. I would think it's like head-based abilities would definitely be just a static bite attack. It couldn't eat anything that was alive. It might have a laser attack.
Just laser eyes.
Just laser eye.
Yeah.
It just fires beams.
All right,
I was thinking for torso, sort of like a mother bullfrog, where it has like dimples all over its back,
That's
just
little
ready to
frogs
like,
in it.
yeah, just ready to release its like young, like all around
Well,
here.
then what do the young look like? If
Just
it's got
excrete. I mean, they would have to be very similar to it itself, but I think maybe they would be like more heads than anything. So it'd just be a bunch of eels like on the ground.
Okay, so they're like little like tadpole things that come out that just have these weird stony faces. I
Yeah,
like
they
that.
just have the stony faces, and they could do like the laser beams, but like in a shorter distance. And they'd have to be like right next to the person and be like, that's hot.
Just like little, little heaters, like wasp bites.
Yeah, little
Okay.
wasp bites.
Who's the torso? Or no?
That was the torso.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll do
That's
arms
torso.
next. Shane, go.
Okay.
My brain completely.
If anyone's ever played Magic the Gathering, you might
Oh,
be
no.
familiar with a creature called the Eldrazi. And the Eldrazi, specifically Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, and the Infinite Gyre, is known for bifurcated arms that like separate at the elbow.
Oh yeah.
I think
Oh,
it'd be
yeah.
cool if the right arm was a bifurcated arm that was like reinforced with an armor plating and had this impenetrable membrane between the two with like
Oh.
graspers and stuff that it could like manipulate objects with, but then could protect itself like a shield
It would
when it
also
needs to.
be a really good like water shovel. Like it'd be able to swim just with that single arm, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like a spread fin if it were to do that. That's really terrifying.
Very aquatic so far, all three.
Yeah.
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 But incredibly defensive. It's utilitarian, like to a T.
Yeah, it's a
already.
multi-jointed like arm that can
yeah,
be
bu-
very flexible, cover its back, its front.
Bifurcated would be like two separate.
Yeah, two
So
arms.
so it's one
Yeah. It's like
shoulder
right
and one elbow,
and then separated
splits
at the elbow,
into
yeah.
what it's essentially. This is now a shoulder for two more jointed arms.
Yeah, there's also that guy in my
like the
Hero
Demogorgon.
Academia who has, I think, 3 arms on either side.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
tentacle.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
So it would be like as impenetrable as that on that arm. All right, I think Monk, you're the other arm.
Yeah, on the left arm. All right, so I had two. If you're going to go to political joke, I had the idea of it being the exact same thing about the scribe of being a donkey head. But
You should have
Another head.
DM'd me. We could have coordinated that. An elephant on one side, a donkey on the other.
Oh no,
Oh.
a stone
was
barracuda
hoping-
in the center.
I was waiting what you said because first it's like, oh, we can have a trunk on the arm. I'm like, wait, wrong animal.
Oh.
Is it?
It
Then,
would have been kind of funny if we did do that, and then the head was just like, "I'm a centrist," and people were like, "No, it's the worst monster of all."
It doesn't know what it wants.
It's
trying to
weird
both
silence
sides
everyone
everything.
else. No.
okay, yeah, it's just donkey on the left, elephant on the right, and literally the middle's just that NPC meme head.
Oh, that,
I like that.
Oh.
That's good.
its back is covered in the same creatures. It's like a Lego brick
Yeah,
going
it's
down.
still-
I feel
it's
like
so
its
just
back
has
should
the-
have
it's
like
such
a,
simple
or its chest should be a Pepe face.
Oh no.
Oh,
To really drive
Okay.
drive it home.
Oh.
All right,
I
but
want
anyway,
one of
what's
you
your
artists-
what's your actual suggestion? Let's hear it.
I want one of you artists to draw this political chimera, though. I love it. The No, that didn't work. Okay, I'll think of something clever later. What I had in mind was actually fit in kind of with the aquatic, because I had an idea for the arm. Pretty much looks like a regular, just kind of grayish arm all the way up. But if you look real close, there's a seam all the way up, and the arm actually opens to basically this large maw that's used to suck in prey.
Oh, so
Ah,
then
a mouth hand.
then the head would really only be for like paralyzing things, essentially.
Mhm.
So I would think it probably extends out of like this because if it's frog-like, it might have like extra mass. So maybe it could squeeze its body, throwing young out while extending its neck to like paralyze people and then fucking
Yeah, I'm
That-
imagining the head is like
yeah.
sort of like, I guess, like turtle-like, but instead of a shell, it's like double chins. Where it's
Yeah,
just like,
it's like a soft shell turtle or like the
Yeah.
internal mouth of Alien kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Where that's
So
Oh,
here's what I'm thinking then. The way this thing evolved thus far, we still don't know the legs. We
No.
don't know the whole story
Could
yet.
be a
We will.
lot.
Yeah.
But for just the head, maybe it evolved to have a false mouth. Its sensory organs are still where the head is,
So
but
it's
the actual
technically
esophageal
tilted.
yeah.
yeah, the
doesn't walk on
esophageal
its-
opening, maybe it breathes through that opening, but like the
Yeah.
esophageal opening
Oh.
is in its bifurcated arm on the other side, which, as Charles explains,
Breathe.
opens up to actually be the maw of the creature.
So it could be
Sort
both
of-
of them. It could have like
Or yeah,
twin
it
mouths,
could also be an
essentially.
air passage too, in case something happens to the head.
Sort of like that one
Yeah, 'cause-
gecko that just the tail looks like a head.
yeah, kind of.
Because the idea I had is like either it can just grab onto someone and hold on to them, or literally it can just pull, basically just suck in air rapidly and try and pull them in.
Yeah, so instead of being like an atrophied or like this is a remnant from evolution, it would be like a budding like pseudopod. Its fake head would be like something that it's still developing, so it would look weird,
Yeah.
which is probably why it's like calcified. It's like that's that looks wrong, and then it comes at you snapping with its arms. You're like, what is going on?
You're like,
I,
whoa.
I also
It's
think
like an
it would be
anglerfish.
cool if it had regeneration abilities too. So because it's using its head, like it's got this eel-like long neck, right? It's kind of vulnerable. So like, it can regrow that if something were to happen. It might even be like a gecko tail where it could detach its own head.
Yeah, I'm thinking then along with that, it would have to have like its poison sacs in its chest. So there would
Right,
need
yeah.
to be some kind of like extra calcified like turtle armor on the front, even if it's got just a bunch of young hanging out in the back. So this would reproduce asexually, like mold. It just grows on its back. This is horrific biologically.
I like
this
it.
would
I like
Yeah,
it.
this
so
is-
far.
dominate
Right.
any ecosystem it lived in.
All right, Mario, hit us with the legs.
So what I was thinking with the legs, because I actually also went aquatic,
Oh,
which was funny because you went with fish head, and I was like, oh, this actually fits with what I was.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm kind of glad I did go
um,
donkey.
I'm picturing like 8 octopus kind of legs.
Oh,
And on the
Okay.
ends, they have like these kind of, not like human hands, but they'd have like 3 digits on the ends of each one.
Mhm.
Oh.
Like these little,
Okay, I have a good finale for this. Keep
That's
going. I have a
absolutely
perfect
terrible.
Just
Yeah, I
like
love it. They-
squirming around. Oh god.
they'd just be this, and they'd be able to get really stiff, so it could just kind of, it could either do the octopus thing where it slides around, or it
Mm.
just kind of props itself up
It
like
just,
like a tripod. Yeah, it just
These things would absolutely be frog-sized, like they're like that big,
Mhm.
and they would thrive in mud flats.
Oh yeah.
Like mud flats is where you would find this disgusting, monstrous, like calcified little demon just mass reproducing. 'Cause it would have to
Oh.
be like covered in liquid all the time. to
I
keep
think
its young.
I would have to. I
Picture-
think the way it's oriented, the way we've described it, it would have to be hardened, like almost like an exoskeleton, but it might not be a
Parts of it, yeah,
true. It could
its
just be
chest
the
would have to
skin
be,
has
yeah.
evolved to be like a hardened shell, kind of like a turtle, right?
Yeah.
A carapace on the outside with the
Yeah.
arms and stuff. The bottom of it's its vulnerable spot with the legs because they're like cartilaginous, like
It's-
they're like octopuses, but there's like false joints. So like with those fingers at the end, they could bend the other way.
It's like a nautilus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
actually.
yeah.
But like a vertical sort
Yeah.
of situation,
Yeah.
yeah, with like
It would definitely
appendages.
crawl like linearly. It would use those things, and the carapace would stay on top at all times. So its lower limbs would have to be pretty long to be able to carry the whole weird eating mass.
Now, would it stand like upright, or would it, be,
It
or
would.
would its feet be like this?
it
and
would
just
seem
think-
like it's upright. But it's
ah,
not.
okay.
It would probably move like a crab if we're thinking like a nautilus with like baby.
Oh,
arms.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So it would move sideways at all times. It has like an arm that looks like a head at the top at all times, but its head is over here, and it's the weird.
It doesn't, right? Because my arm has the membrane, right? And like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
graspers,
That's
it could
almost like a
use that
tail.
as a locomotion.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. That's what
Type
I
of
was
thing,
saying.
crawling on the sea
It makes
floor.
more sense that it's on the back now. So it would be like probably riverside or like oceanside kind of thing. It would be a tide pool or a coral reef nightmare.
Just
Actually,
picturing like somebody
Logan-
going into one of these mud flats, and they're just like, "Oh, what's
It's
this?"
I
And they're
imagine-
blasted
Do you
by
think-
these lasers?
Yeah.
You think this thing would have adapted like the flounder, where it's one arm goes on one in front and the other arm goes behind?
Mm.
Always, yeah.
I think so.
Mm.
Yeah.
If it's
like
bifurcated-
locomotion one would be, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it could. Its
'Cause you get
shoulder
the mouth
for
on
like
one side.
the right arm, right, would
It
actually
might
be in the
even-
front,
if-
and then the
if-
maw would be like
Yeah.
above.
If we were exploring like, oh, its shell would be like a beehive or like a honeycomb.
Yeah.
With its babies. So if we
Ooh.
were exploring that, its second arm could potentially come out of the same like bony opening that all the other tentacles would come out of.
Mhm.
So it's like all these
Ooh.
tentacles that let it move on land, and then this one big like really tough arm that can let it swim.
I
crazy
think like
fast.
I
the
like that.
It's
the
it would be
split
a
arm-
pursuit tool. It's not an escape tool. This thing
I
is
think
absolutely a
the
predator.
split arm would probably, because of the membrane that it has in the middle, it would like fold over on the back to kind of shield the
Yeah.
the
The
young
babies.
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could go on
Yeah.
the side. Yeah.
Yeah, it would do that,
Yeah.
and then once it's like attacking, it would just like spread it open and just all
Yeah,
the babies.
That would be like its natural defense tool. Like if it feels, because it's small, it's still
Yeah.
a hunter, but like if it feels threatened by something big, it would open up this thing as wide as it can to look big, and it would use it as like a paper sheet. Like,
Mhm.
don't come past this. There's nothing behind this. So
Right?
it's a
yeah,
fully
yeah.
functional defense tool.
Mhm.
I think.
I'm just
Oh, sorry. Go
I'm
ahead.
just imagining lair-wise, basically it's one of them mud holes you'd see in the ground. It just goes on forever, but you look inside of it, it's just lined with holes in the wall where they all have their little pockets in the mud they're sleeping in.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it just
Kinda-
makes it with its little tentacles.
Yeah.
It just goes.
I feel like a way to balance this thing, because I imagine it's fairly massive. A way to like.
No, we're thinking it's like that big.
They're small.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
really?
frog size.
Oh!
Yeah, the
it's
whole
like a
time
small
it's been
little
like that big. It's
Yeah.
like maybe a
Oh,
foot.
okay. Yeah, actually,
So it's-
okay.
Yeah, mud flats, like coral reefs and stuff.
Maybe a way to balance it, kind of like octopi when they have babies, they like die to protect their babies, and then they have like broods of like 300 or whatever,
Mm.
and maybe like 5% of them actually reach adulthood. Maybe when it's in its infantile state, that's when it's most vulnerable. Its carapace hasn't hardened. It's like
Which is why it needs to be protected by the parent.
Yeah.
I think
right.
they
It's
would
like
be
food
asexual.
for
They could just
stuff.
create themselves.
Breed,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What would we call it?
Oh,
I don't know. But
Yeah.
Logan,
So
I
it-
love this thing so much. I'm going to be slightly disappointed if we don't see this in one of your books eventually.
it's too complex. I'd love an entry like that.
Honestly, that would be really cool.
So it's
I think it fit
definitely
good for the island campaign, just thematic wise.
the one I'm doing.
And it would be
now,
a cool like
Yeah.
a beast, because this is an animal. It's a fucking weird
Yeah.
animal, but it's an animal, so it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, this thing's like a mind flare. No, it's just a creature. Like you could summon
Maybe a
this if you're a
monstrosity,
druid.
if anything.
You turn into one.
What are its main traits? Would you say?
Like,
Like from taxonomical perspective, like what would people look at this thing and be like, oh, that's
Would this count
it-
as crustacean?
Is
it's-
it
it's a
boneless or is it an
gastropod, it's not a
arthropod?
crustacean. It's a gastropod.
Gastropod.
Gastropod,
Okay.
okay.
So it's like a snail, actually.
Well, snails and I believe octopi are also gastropods.
right.
Are
There's
they
a
in the
lot
same
of
family?
interesting-
So they're cephalopods.
Yes. So cephalopods and gastropods are very similar.
Yeah, a
are
gastro
they-
means
they're both-
mouth, and
it
then pod
means-
is foot.
I thought it means
So
like lung.
What was that?
thought-
Gastro is like, I think your
You might be like gastrointestinal. Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, so I think that's like snails and slugs are gastropods. I'm pretty sure.
So what was
and then-
octopus? That's
There's cephalopods.
Cephalopods.
cephalopods. That's right.
Yeah.
Because that's also what nautili are. Yeah, nautili. So this would be a cephalopod.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's a
more
boneless
likely.
creature, but
They
it
are-
has hard
they are
calcified
still-
parts.
They're both mollusks. They're both under that same family.
Yes,
Oh, okay,
that's
okay.
right. The mouse is the order,
Yes.
I think.
So English, let's say two traits would be. It's not very toxic. It's very good at hunting.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's got the regeneration to it.
It's true. Which is actually a thing that cephalopods do have. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
fake.
Yeah, you're right. That wouldn't be too distinctive a trait. It's got
It would probably be an evolutionary loner based on our description. So it would be like
yeah.
an early, like its closest common ancestor would be the common ancestor it has with cephalopods. But that was like so many millions of years ago. It is its own individual species in its own family or genus, family, et cetera, until you get to the cephalopod sort of class. Or
and
whatever.
they've evolved to have a harder shell, so we could incorporate that into a name because I imagine they've got
Into the
better
name, yeah.
natural protection than most
Yeah.
pods would.
Yeah.
So it's like an
Yeah.
armored
Armored or
octopus.
shelled.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be. It's more than that because it has like a head. Like a lot of cephalopods, their head is like their whole body is part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
This thing actually has like
A body.
a sort. Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's got like it's got its sensory organs on a thing that it can regenerate easily, and then its mouth on a sort of arm that it can sort of like withdraw. I'm guessing into itself, and then kind of like a goblin
Right.
shark, like strike out.
Yeah.
Right. Or like a starfish, where it's just like spits its stomach out and grabs it in the...
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean, well, you know what? Let's actually, if you don't mind, Fallen, because you're the one that talked about the maw. Would you mind if it was instead of teeth, like a beak, sort of like cephalopods?
That'd work actually. I don't mind changing it.
Okay, because that way it's sort of like, oh yeah, this is a cephalopod, but it's like
Mhm.
fucking weird and
Strange.
Yeah, the beak I feel like makes it more distinct as well and creepy,
Yeah.
so I do like that.
Remorphed.
and it also
Kind
makes
of
sense.
thing.
It would probably feed on crustaceans and stuff too. Like it would pierce,
Mm.
like a crab or something, pull it in, and
Yeah.
It's like
How do we
that
feel
could be
about
else.
Fovenari?
Faux
That-
Venar.
So,
That's
So like
sick.
a
Like a cool name.
Faux.
fake what?
faux spelled F-O-U-X, I think is a French word for fake or a lying version of.
Uh-huh.
And then venari is the Latin word for hunter.
I like that.
Ah, okay. Because it's fooling you with where its head is. Okay.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
fool its prey too. It's like this thing is going
Mm-hmm.
after you, and if it fails, I could just eat you anyway. Because it's not a
Right.
filter
Yeah.
feeder. It can directly attack from 2 different directions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
that and
I like
also-
So
that.
maybe a faux du venari, like a duel, as in duo attacking.
As in two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Faux
I think
du
either
venari.
work.
That'd be fun.
That
I like
sounds like
both
a
of
cool
them,
name.
and oh,
Both
Or
I'll go
maybe
Shane's.
maybe full binary, so that way it kind of like fits into its own.
Nah, we don't want to go political.
Okay.
With that, I think we're gonna go on break. A couple of us are gonna pee, and we're gonna
Alright.
come up with some other topics.
Hey.
Yeah.
I think it's all set up. So without further ado, thank all 11 to 12 of you for watching. We'll be back.
Yeah. Sorry, I was leaning forward.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm starting an OnlyFans. I'm going to be wearing this wig the entire time.
Whoa!
It's entirely going to be back shots. Honestly, I look like Hank Hill, so it's more of a comedy.
That's pretty good.
It's more of a comedy OnlyFans. If you're really my fan.
No, you joke. I'm sure there's a market for that.
No, I know. I've seen like 2-3 people. Like, if you want to come for me, come for me, but pay me $25 a month.
Is that the name of the OnlyFans?
Yes.
Yeah.
Come for me.
Yeah.
If you're come at me, bro.
Yeah, if you're gonna come at me, come on me.
Oh no.
Come on me, bro.
Yeah.
You had someone transcribe that live, and then it goes on the site that just says,
boy,
like,
yeah.
if you're going to come at me, come ... on me. Wait, no.
Yeah.
Don't print that.
Funny XD face. No.
Haha,
This
XD
is
winky
hot.
face.
Yeah.
This is really hot.
JK, unless.
Man, how do women have
Unless.
2 sets of hair? How do they do this?
Oh.
We were joking earlier, because Logan came into the camera with the wig, that this is the first cryptid power, which is his skull splits open and hair just shoots out. So it's not actually a wig, it's real. And then after this after this
like
this
a
stream, it's
Bloodborne
gonna
meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, get absorbed back.
It looks like it doesn't look natural. It looks like a wig right now. But what you can't see is that there are actually just like open scalp going down my head.
Oh no.
These guys saw it. You can tell by their reaction they don't want to talk about it. But
No.
Nah,
Let's move
The
on.
only
It's a
thing
little
protecting
Alabama,
me.
so I'm too dumb to process it, so
Yeah.
I just.
Yeah, actually, that's it. This is the only
No, his
reason.
power.
You gotta stay in movement.
This is the
Yeah, let's
only
see
reason that we're on Tall Tales is that he pegged us all as too dumb to be mentally
Pegged us
scarred
all?
by his cryptid
Listen,
status.
I can say, as someone from Alabama, we already have some pathetic, insane meth heads out here. They don't need eldritch powers.
well, it's too late. I'm coming
bad,
to
I'm
Alabama, and
coming
I'll
there.
be among their numbers. I am the meth head with
just-
eldritch power.
You
I am
just
the
come
one.
to visit me for the weekend. I'm taking you to the airport, and I look outside. It's just a horde of thralls have just been slammed up against the window, just full on World War Z style.
Oh, Jesus.
Come to see
See
their
the screech
property.
in the distance.
Did the sound actually cut? No, it didn't. You're lying.
Oh, here, Shane, I'll join you.
Join. Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa!
I
Hey.
put my goggles away.
Please, anybody with shades, put them on. And cool boy solidarity. We
Right.
need, I should say
I don't
cool
have my
kid
Heisenberg
solidarity.
glasses
Alright,
now.
I'll be
Dang it.
right
All right, our
back.
gals and
Just
non-binary
put,
pals
yeah,
are included.
put fingers over your eyes and you're good.
You can do this.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh god.
Hey. Sweet. Yeah.
What's up?
Yo.
My hair. God damn.
Nice.
What's up? I am auditioning for the role of Doc Brown in the new Back to the Future remake.
Hell yeah.
Marty.
I love the steampunkness of both of your glasses.
Yeah, the round.
Yeah.
Oh,
Compared to
over the
goggles.
hair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nice. And you get to keep your headphones stay safe
Yeah.
too.
That should be
Yeah.
under the hair.
You protect
yeah.
your eyes and your ears.
Mhm.
Yo.
The
Okay.
ever-changing Logan.
Yeah.
That's your new
I
tagline.
That's a solid one, actually. Okay.
You know, I've been before you go. I just want to say something. I've been thinking about what it means to be cool for a while because I decided in my arrogance and hubris to go with the moniker Cool Boy Shane, and I'm like, what does that mean? And the one thing that's evergreen, the one thing that always is cool,
His eyes.
sunglasses. Every
it's
time
just
you add
aviators.
sunglasses to
Aviators.
anything, and it
Aviators
ups the cool
specifically.
factor.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in the context of like as
Yeah.
long as you're not like a heartless person, I feel like there's a lot of people in media with like aviator sunglasses that are like
Okay.
villains and stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But they're still
Yeah.
cool, actually.
Well, there's something cool
Oh,
about
no.
a lot of villains. Like, not a lot of superheroes are
Oh,
super
yeah.
epic, so
There's a reason why people love villains.
I mean, Ice didn't wear any glasses on Hocus Pocus yesterday.
it's definitely. I
That's
feel
true.
like on the cool scale, I don't know the third step, but it's like aviators or sunglasses. Confidence doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, some other thing.
Except 3
Yeah,
profit.
some other thing.
You need the two things, and some other thing could be a leather jacket, could be a pop collar, or several pop collars, right? Or like a backwards baseball cap, a skateboard, a motorcycle, an electric guitar. Like,
A
there's
really
so many
cool
things.
car, so much. Just
Maybe
anything
maybe
that's
it's something.
cool.
Maybe it's that combo of the confidence, because you can't really tell what they're thinking when you can't like completely see their eyes.
Mm.
They might be
Yeah.
like
It's-
fucking just
yeah.
darting around, looking around for all you know.
Yeah,
So-
they could
so
be in
there's-
complete panic.
There's
That's
genuine
true.
confidence, and then there's artificial confidence, which comes in the
Mhm.
form of sunglasses. When you have both,
Like,
you're
Yeah.
the coolest motherfucker.
All right.
You can't be stopped.
I got to ask, because this brings up one thing that I really like about sunglasses, but one show I feel like ruined it. Any of y'all see that Luke Cage Marvel show that was on TV?
I did not.
I saw
Alright.
Luke Cage. I saw the first season. Did they ever
That's
have
pretty
other
solid.
seasons?
It had 2 actually. All of them had 2. Just most people don't talk about season 2 unless it was Jessica Jones or Daredevil.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Didn't they
yeah.
both like come from Jessica Jones, or wasn't she like the first? That was the first.
Yeah, Luke Cage was in Jessica Jones,
Yes.
It
and
was a cameo spin-off.
Daredevil
sorta.
was his own thing.
Mm. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah. yeah,
And then there was Iron Fist.
Mm. Oh yeah. Which
Mhm.
people just didn't like.
Mhm.
it was all right.
So what's the Luke Cage tangent? What are we fighting about?
So there's like one of the street level villains, just like a thug villain named Shades in Marvel, who
Oh,
that's-
right.
that's this thing, he wears shades all the
Cool
time.
boy
And he was introduced like, oh, it's one of Big Boss's guys named Shades. And he just strolls in, leather jacket, sunglasses, indoors, overall tough looking guy. It's like, oh man, all right, things are getting serious. He takes off the sunglasses within a minute of him on screen. And I'm like,
That's
Come on, man. Put him back on.
His
Put him
whole
back
arc-
on.
he's dead. They killed the character. That is the end of his arc.
What if
Yeah.
what if when he removed the sunglasses, someone
Yeah.
turns around, they look at him, they're like, "Whoa, where'd Shades go?"
That his power is to no one can recognize him without the glasses.
Without the
I like
glasses.
that.
I thought you were gonna say he takes off the glasses and has another pair of glasses underneath.
No.
At least have been funny.
Yeah.
nothing
That's
like
Master
that.
Chief.
I feel
He was
like
like-
his nemesis. I know it's probably not the case, but what would make sense would be his nemesis could be Cyclops from the X-Men, because he has to wear
Wow.
something over his
Yeah.
eyes or else the lasers come out. So it's like he has to wear them, and everyone just assumes he's being like a cock for wearing these like ruby, like literally mineral like ruby
Yeah.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
And then like this guy's doing it because he's just like a prick.
yeah.
See, he's appropriating Cyclops.
He keeps complete eye contact with Cyclops, and
No
It
one
really
can tell
fucks
that
him
they're
up.
doing that, but they are.
They know.
Yeah.
They know.
Hey.
They
The
can
thing that
feel
bugged
it.
me, it's no eye powers, no big reveal. It's like, hey, I'm sorry. He just talks about sunglasses for all, then puts them back on and leaves. And it's like, why is he named Shades?
It's so bad.
It's like I don't know. We didn't ask him his name. That was the one feature he
It's
had.
like
so-
if the front man in Squid Game just stood behind 3 people at all times. That's the fourth man. That was terrible. Don't laugh.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Squid Game, so I'm like,
Oh.
It's
conceptually, I
have
think
not
this
seen
makes
Squid
sense,
Game.
No,
but hey.
it's just a pun. His name is the front
I
man.
know
and he's
about
like
it
the
by
lead.
osmosis,
okay.
but I know what you're saying.
Standing-
They call the front man because he blocks good in basketball.
Yeah, no, he's amazing.
Yeah.
It is
You know,
actually, it's a really good show. You guys should watch it.
the one bad thing about sunglasses is no
I've
one
heard
can
good
see you
things.
wink.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Because we got
Well,
finger guns.
you can.
that's why
imply
you gotta perfect the tip
Oh, you
down,
gotta
like,
like.
The tilt
like that.
Yeah.
That's a move.
I will
You know,
never.
you gotta do that,
I will.
and then
never,
people are like,
oh,
"Whoa."
yeah, they're like, and then I do it, and they're like, "What the fuck is? Huh?"
You gotta peel the glasses off.
Think about it this way,
They're
right?
Goggles.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's right. And that, like so part of the mystique of sunglasses, right?
Yeah.
Is there's a mystique, there's a mystery. Where are you looking? What's your real expression?
I
Yeah, the eyebrows are expressive, but if they don't move, we have no idea,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
But
And-
when someone does the wink, they're like, it's like pulling the curtain back. Like you're getting to see behind the hood or under the hood, right? Like, hey,
Mhm.
we're cool. You and me right now, you're seeing my eyes. We're cool right now in this moment.
Yeah, it's literally a social weapon and a social defense in a weird way. Like,
Yeah.
like wearing sunglasses at a certain point in your life, it makes you feel invisible. Like you can say whatever you want, and people don't see you. They're seeing the persona of not you, you with glasses. So you can do whatever.
You're hiding behind a mask.
Yeah, it feels like you're like hidden. It's like people can't tell where you're looking. They can't tell the minute, because like the eyes are the window to the soul kind of thing. So when you reveal like your eyes to someone, it is sort of it's like a crazy sign of trust for some people. So it is like a hey. So you can just go around and wink at hot cuties all the time. They're like,
To only add to it as well, there's also, it revealed how Luke Cage knows Shades as they were in prison together. They still call him Shades when he's not wearing shades in prison.
Get him out of here.
So that means he had an entire segment of he gets to prison. What's your name? Shades.
No.
Why do I call you Shades? And he had
That's
to
like-
do something to, whether they beat someone
Pulls
up
out
or
a
not.
Sharpie.
Yeah.
He draws shades on his
Yeah,
face.
just
His face, he always stands under broken light bulbs. No.
Disappointing, man.
Yeah, that's
And-
bad. Oh, come on.
Yeah, I don't know. It felt like such a weird thing that. Anyways, so that wasn't the topic I had. Funny enough, but we really got on that.
I'm sorry. I thought I was gonna do a quick thing. I didn't mean to sidetrack us. Go for it. Let's hear it.
No, I just talked about it so much it felt like it was the topic. So I just wanted to clarify. I didn't want to talk about
Is that
Luke
my
Cage
sunglasses?
for a whole hour,
I can't even see anymore.
which is a good character. Not gonna lie, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
I like Luke Cage.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. And
Everybody has potential.
but the topic I had, I got thinking of this when y'all mentioned a scene in Home Alone 2 at the end, at the beginning of it, how that was a scary scene. So
Hmm.
it is Halloween, so I feel like, what is a scene that stuck with you way more than it should as a kid? But it wasn't meant to. Like, you didn't see a horror movie and it stuck
Oh,
with you.
wasn't
Something
meant
that was
to.
meant to be kid friendly that haunted you. Because in
something
Home Alone 2,
accidentally scary.
Oh man.
I like
Yeah.
this
That's
question.
tough.
yeah, because
I have
in
to
Home
think
Alone
about
2 as well, the bird thing got me. Like, that whole movie's kind of creepy because you're in these like abandoned streets in New York, like, and also there's that whole renovated building
Yeah.
that he's in. So on, it feels a lot darker than the first movie, unintentionally. But there's that scene where Marv grabs onto the metal and it's hooked up to the
The
electricity
heater.
of the building, and
Oh, never mind.
there's that scene where he gets electrocuted. It's all slapstick, like, he's shaking. Then he turns into a skeleton for a second.
Yeah.
And as a kid, I think
Oh, really?
his skin just melted.
The gamma rays bled through
And-
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
and
guy's
this
in some
skeleton's
serious
just
pain.
screaming for nearly a minute. He's screaming near
He
for a minute.
screams
Then
for
he's
a
a
while,
skeleton for a good bit of that minute. Then let's go. He's back to human again. I'm just like, what did I just see?
That man's in serious pain. This isn't funny anymore.
Somebody call an ambulance. You stand up,
Yeah.
look around the sleepover, like, hey, that guy's
Somebody
not.
kisses boo boos. What the fuck?
Yeah, there wasn't no comedic bonk. There was just blood curdling screams
Yeah.
for a whole minute.
I
And I'm
don't-
just like,
Thought it was pretty
I
wild.
don't like. I was never really scared from any movies unintentionally. I know that.
Yeah.
The first time I saw like the Saw movies, where the girl wearing the pig mask like breaks into someone's house and abducts them, that like fucked with me for a week. But unintentionally, I've never
Oh my
had
God.
that. I was
Yeah.
like really religiously protected as a kid, so like even Spirited Away, one of my favorite movies of all time. When No Face just like starts going crazy and he gets
Yeah.
extremely greedy.
Yeah.
My parents were like, "Oh, we should turn off this movie and stop it." I was having an
Oh.
amazing time, but they were like, "This is too scary for
They're like,
kids."
no, 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 no.
So yeah, it's like the exact inverse of like that. It wasn't scary. I loved it, and then because people thought it was bad.
I don't think I've ever really been scarred either by anything. Because usually, a lot of times, I would oddly be kind of enthralled by certain stuff like that. Like I knew it was unsettling, but like for example, you bringing up the Spirited Away thing, it makes me think of just there would be a lot of times
Like
growing
Deep
up where
Fried.
I was watching stuff or I would sneak something that I really should probably not have been watching,
Yeah.
and it's just like, this is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yo, this though.
Yo, look at that! Whoa!
Yeah. Whoa.
Okay. I remember I did have a moment like that actually, where first anime I ever saw was Yu Yu Hockey Show. Like my uncle was just on I never had access to TV like that as a kid, but
Yeah.
I was at my uncle's and my uncle went on a date that night, and he just left me to watch TV, and I was watching Cartoon Network. Then Tom comes on. I'm like, whoa, this guy's cool. What's going on here? Then I see you hockey show. I saw this scene where it's like episode 5 where he stuck that giant stick in the demon's mouth and blew the back of his brains out with
Yeah, I know what
spirit
you're
gun.
talking about.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing I saw, and I'm just as a kid just like, whoa.
There was a ton of
That's so
anime
cool.
like that, where it's like I would get away with it because my parents would look at it and say, "Oh, it's a dumb cartoon or something."
Like the one
and
that
then-
that Chris O'Neill got, like the one where it's like horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, really graphic.
Yeah, I
like-
remember that story.
Yeah, because it looks like a normal like anime, but it is brutal. Like I can't say the type of scenes that are featured in the movie, but
It's-
oh yeah,
It
yeah.
is. It is for an adult audience.
Yes.
an
Yeah.
adult and a like it goes even further than that. It's like consenting
It's like-
to specific themes in the movie that like
Yeah.
parents didn't even like, they wouldn't know. It's not on the cover, so you just buy it. It's in
Yeah.
like Japanese.
Well,
You're
it's
like,
like-
here you go, and just, woo!
It's like imagine you're like some parent who's like, my kid likes cartoons. What's this Akira thing?
Mhm.
This seems
Yeah.
neat.
Oh, it's so good.
When they accidentally
that
stumble
one's
upon Happy Tree
Ooh.
Friends.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Happy Tree.
Yeah.
I really like.
I remember watching
people
that.
online who gaslight other people. It's like, this is a really good kid show.
Uh,
if you put your kid in front of a screen and you don't care about what they watch this. It's good.
Watch this. Yeah.
Yeah.
When
I
I was
had,
a
like,
kid,
some
I don't
green
think.
text.
Oh, sorry, Dieter, you were going.
Oh,
Oh, I was just gonna say like
Hmm.
something like it's a little weird, I think, for me because I like my parents took me to go watch Scream when I was 5, so
Whoa.
I had like very early introduction to like horror and what that like means and all that kind of stuff. So things that were like kind of spooky or anything like that, I just liked. Like it was something that was really interesting to me. But I think the one thing that really stuck with me was, or at least for a little bit, was in the yeah in what was that, the Sixth Sense.
Oh.
There is one scene where the boy is talking to another boy, and at this point, it's been a little bit creepy to a bit, but this boy is talking to another boy who looks completely normal. He's being a little weird, he's being a little suspicious, but like he's normal. And then the boy kind of turns around, and you see that like the back of his head has been blown out, so like the
Oh.
back of his head is
Oh.
completely
Yeah.
exposed, brains and skull and all that. And that stuck with me because it wasn't something that was like a monster. It was like, this person is completely
Yeah.
normal, but they're hiding something about themselves.
Mm.
And that kind of
Mm.
stuck with me. That one creeped me out
I
for
was
a
gonna
while.
say,
For a little bit.
it didn't creep me out, but like it's really surprised me early on in RoboCop, the first like the 80s movie or
Oh.
whatever.
Whoa,
The
that
dude
was
just
rough.
gets like fully flesh gibbed by guns. and it's
yes,
like, I didn't know that was a part of this because no other movie does a budget where they pay that much attention. Then there's like Cannibal Island, which is, I think that's the name of the movie, but it was so real that people investigated whether or not they actually used people.
Oh, you take it to Cannibal Holocaust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We'll do a really quick and very wide-legged sidestep from that topic.
Oh yeah.
Well, so
That's
so
fair.
I similarly to Mario, I've never. I don't think there's any like meant for kids media that scarred me because my
Yeah.
stepdad loved to watch action movies that had a lot of violence and gore in them. So from an early age, I saw Terminator 1 and 2. Like I was 6, I think, when I saw them for the first time. And Terminator 1 is like a horror movie. Not like a like the most scary horror movie, but it is more horror than action. Like there's action in it, but not really until like the midpoint and the end. It's
I
a
mean-
lot of like scary, you know, because the main character is just like a woman who's being hunted by an invincible machine, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason Michael Myers is scary because he's unstoppable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I also saw like Starship Troopers, which super gory, also has several nude scenes in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my stepdad was fine just letting us watch that. So like when I would see stuff that people are like, "Wow, that was so creepy," I'm just like, I was a nerd to it, I guess, at an early age.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
something that kind of scared me a lot as a kid was probably Jurassic Park's raptors.
Okay, yeah.
I got a lot of
Olympic
anxiety
fencing
when they
too.
needed to get to the power breakers, right? Because I remember the
Yeah.
jump scare where she gets like the arm on her shoulder. That freaked me out
Yeah.
because we saw that man not moments ago,
Right.
right? And like the implication was he just got fucking torn to shreds. Same with the dude who like sabotaged the whole resort, and then the thing with the ink spitting. Like it's really
Yeah.
funny up until that point, and then the implication that he's getting basically ripped
They, like,
apart little
flare out
bit
there.
by
Yeah.
little bit by this thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that wasn't shown in that movie that was implied that I was like, I didn't like that, which is weird
Yeah.
considering all the other stuff that I saw. But
Someone, Super Bunny Bun, actually. I think they're on Twitter or something. I don't know.
Hey.
Cool person. Monchi Circle. But they mentioned 2 movies, and there's another one that my mom really liked, and she let me watch, even though it was a very, like, Protestant household. I wasn't allowed to watch Digimon because they said the word "this sucks" once in an episode. And,
I was told that was a cuss word as a kid. I was
yeah.
like that too.
No, I saw The Dark Crystal, Never Ending Story,
Ooh.
and The Labyrinth.
Yeah.
I love
Labyrinth is
Well, they showed me Labyrinth in school.
I
actually.
fucking love the labyrinth, dude.
Okay.
So
But,
good.
the Dark Crystal specifically, there's I think the meat skis or whatever they're called, the meat
the vet
Yeah.
skis or Vetskis or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like these weird. They're like
You mean the
vulture people.
Skeksis?
Skeksis,
Yeah.
the
Skeksis, thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
the bird people.
There's the scene where like their patriarch, it just like he just dies, and they're like, oh, let's fucking tear him to shreds and eat his flesh.
Yeah.
My favorite monster
Oh.
design from that movie that I want to put in D&D at one point is the crazy thing that they get on top of to ride. And it has
Oh,
these
yeah.
insanely long legs, but they're
Those
inverse.
big, long-
they're
yeah.
inverse to what like a dog or like an elk would be. So it's kind of like a person if they were running like fucking the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. They're running at just full speed. They're so crazy because they have like flat faces and like weird little eyes and stuff. But
Oh wow.
Yeah.
such a good movie. And
Oh,
the series has
the
gotta be good, too.
plantigrade legs. Yeah.
To answer your question, Super Bunny Bun Bun.
Yeah. Sorry.
I have not actually seen Dark Crystal in its entirety, so this is news to me. I have not seen it. Never Ending Story I watched way early on. I don't remember anything from it other than the kid going, "Yeah!"
That's the ending.
Yeah.
That's another amazing movie.
And then I think I watched Labyrinth in adulthood. Like I didn't see it as a kid, but I saw it as an adult. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff about that movie that's like, it's of its time. It's of its time.
David Bowie's
Oh,
pants.
really?
Oh,
mean,
Well,
David
just the
Bowie's
implication
That
of
was a
an
blessing
adult
to the
David
viewers.
Bowie
Yes.
coming on
Oh,
to
with
this 15-year-old.
with the
What's
young-
weird is
Well,
that like when you're
it's
of
a
that
fey
age,
creature
she was the
kinda thing,
prettiest
too.
person in the world. Like
Mm.
I
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
I don't know who her actress was, but her face was
yeah, she's in a lot of
angelic.
stuff.
Yeah.
I always,
Yeah.
I grew up with that.
I always-
I'm not
I tend to think about it.
man, 15.
I tend to look at it in that same sense of it's even creepier. Like it's
Yes.
I know it's creepy, but I'm like
He wanted a full
okay with it
queen.
because it makes me think of like this is like this weird fey creature that's
Yeah.
trying to whisk
So
somebody
he's
away.
not David Bowie. He's been alive for like 600
Right.
years. He's not. Yeah. Like
I mean,
like
he is a
sort of
villain,
goblin.
so it is
Absolutely.
like,
yeah, he's the Goblin King.
yeah. By the way, her name is Jennifer Connelly. That's the actress.
Oh, that's
Always-
her. Yeah.
She's been in some
Yeah.
recent.
I've done
Not recent. She's
I've
died
done a
recently.
couple. I've done like small one shots where I've basically ran a labyrinth style
It's
kind of game.
it's amazing inspiration. It's absolutely
It is.
amazing.
Okay. Amazing.
really neat world.
It's a labyrinth, okay? Technically, a labyrinth is defined
Yeah.
as something that is entirely linear and arduous. A maze is. Technically,
you?
so if you talk to like people who design mazes or like architects, they'll probably spit on you for arguing about this. Because there is a really weird fine line of like what's a maze, what's a labyrinth. Because it was defined as a labyrinth in the Minotaur myth, but it's a
Right.
maze. So yeah, it's this weird thing.
Right, where a
So is it
labyrinth
really
would be
no
more
difference?
like
They're synonyms.
Yeah, they're semi synonyms. Like they're different words for a reason in the English language, but yeah, it's up for debate.
no one's
Is
gonna
it like one of those
yeah.
get
things
angry at
where
you for saying you
nowadays
to switch.
is it like one of those things where nowadays labyrinth has been used so often that it's like now it's
think
kind of
so.
just like
Yeah.
the definition
I
that
assume-
people tend to go with, or
Yeah, I assumed it was mazes are meant to be puzzles, labyrinths are actually meant to be prisons. That's what was my
Essentially,
assumption.
yeah,
since-
that's a good classification.
yeah.
There's a really cool like cosmology scene in the Dark Crystal, where I remember very vividly the two scenes of like all the weird old like Saurian guys. They like
the Skeksis.
no,
Or
not
oh
the
no
Skeksis,
no
those are the avian guys.
lizard men.
The lizard men, yeah, the
fucking-
Saurian guys. They just
Yeah.
go like, oh, and then all of them
Yeah.
join in. It's such a unique and beautiful scene because as a kid, you're like, what is this Buddhist shit? I don't know what's happening right now.
I want
And then they just start vanishing. It
Oh,
was so good. But there's that, and then there's, what are those structures where it's like these are where the planets are right now?
observatories or
No, it's a model.
no? Yeah, I didn't know they had a name. I just thought there was a model
like a
or
star
like a
map or like a
like a
I'll-
mobile.
no, kind of. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Someone was gonna say something. I think it was Mario.
Oh, I was gonna say, I thought the Dark Crystal was super cool. It had one of those one of the scenes for it was super unintentionally funny to me, which was the scene when they're all walking together. They're going on this long trek, and one of the Skeksis dies, and since they're connected to the other people, they'll fade away. But there was like this really kind of stock file kind of sound effect of an explosion noise when one of them died, and it killed me. It fucking killed me because the guy like explodes, all of them stop, they turn around, they look at where he exploded, and then they turn back around and they keep walking. And I'm like, what the fuck was that?
That reminds me of how bad Aquaman was, the DC movie, because they use the same explosion effect that I use
Like,
in my YouTube videos, and underwater they had an unmuffled explosion. It was like it was like a planned like construction site explosion. And I was like, this is the worst movie ever right away, right here, and we're halfway
Yeah.
through. I already hate it.
Hey, remember that poster that was literally just stock images of?
I don't blame them. I know what you're talking about. They use stock images of sharks in the background
Yeah.
of the poster. It's like
Yeah.
they paid for those. You pay like $70 for a fucking stock image.
Yeah.
On the
I know, just
Yeah.
it wasn't that good looking of a poster
No,
though.
it looked bad. Everything about that was bad.
On the topic of funny explosions,
Sorry, just-
we recently watched Hocus Pocus, and for me, I've
is
seen
that
scenes,
the
but
new
this is
one?
my first time watching the whole movie from start to finish.
Is that the new one or the old one?
The old
Remake? Okay.
Old one. I didn't know
Wait,
it was a
there's
new
a new
one.
one?
I know they're
There
making a
might be
sequel, but it's not.
something.
They're
out
making
yet.
a new one, but it hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
Wait, are they? I always thought that was a rumor.
Yeah,
No,
they're
no,
making
it's,
a
I saw it
second
on
one.
IMDb. It's in production.
Like Three Witches or something. But yeah, no, go ahead.
There's this one scene. We were clowning on the movie the whole time, and then being very surprised and impressed with the writing and how smart it was.
Really?
A lot of really funny puns and some adult humor, like that probably wouldn't pass today, but that was like, this is good.
The
Like
old
whoever
Hocus
wrote this is amazing.
Cool.
But then there's this moment where they knock out the boy Max, and the girl puts like a salt thing around her to protect her, and they're like, salty, okay. So they take the girl, the sister, and Danny's her name. They're like, all right, well, bye, peace. And they're in like the room in the top of the house where there's like a little lookout thing. Like he actually in his room he has this little staircase that goes up to this like weird almost lighthouse lookout on top of the house. It's very crazy. When they leave, the shit fucking explodes explodes violently and loudly. Huge, like practical effect explosion out of nowhere. They just, pew!
What the fuck?
And they're just out of there. And like the girl's fine because of the assault ring, but the kid, Max is on the ground unconscious. And we were like,
The end of Mac and
rewind that, go back, we gotta see that shit again, because what the hell? There was no lead up. They were just like, "Bleh," and then they fucking boom out of the top of this house.
And like there had been no indication that they have this kind of power before.
Yeah, they've never done anything that destructive in the movie up until that point.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a thing where it's like, okay, we've reached our deadline. We're not done. We still have a lot of budget to go through. By C4. That's how the movie ends.
It was so violent, and I even like I expected the sexual innuendo at that point. I did not expect the fucking Michael Bay shit.
Yeah.
That was like, whoa.
Just the way you described the house reminded me of Edith Finch, which is a really cool game. Complete tangent. The way that the house is built in that game is so stupid ridiculous. It's like there's a boat maybe 5 stories up. It's like this weird, like crazy spiral. But other tangent, the name of a model solar system is called an orrery.
Oh,
I didn't. That's not what I thought it was, but
I've never heard that word before.
me either.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I might have seen it. I've never heard it.
It sounds familiar, but I sure as fuck was not going to remember it.
No. Yeah. Some stupid shit. Man.
Chuck, you were gonna say something.
Yeah,
I think we cut you off by accident.
I was just going to say the Sanderson sisters don't mess around, so that explosion doesn't surprise me.
I know those directors by heart.
I love that
that's
they
the
like.
name of the witches, the Sanderson sisters.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I love that they like. Someone shines a light on them, saying it's daylight, and they're like, "Oh, we're dead," and they play dead. They like succumb to death, even though they're fine. But then they have the power to blow up houses on command.
Yeah, I do. No, there is an interesting shift where it starts out being a relatively creepy movie. Then the moment where all the sisters come back, then to go out in the real world and they're interacting with the real world, it's instantly pretty funny and just entertaining to watch.
It was also very weird because he like lights the candle, right in the beginning. And they just sort of like show up at the front door, like, really? That's how they come back? Like they were on a long vacation. They're coming home for the first time. Like, we're back. Like, I don't know. I thought maybe like the ground would split open or something.
Yeah.
I mean, because the zombie came straight out of the ground. I was expecting something like that too.
Yeah, right. Oh, we're just here. Hey, what's up?
Yo, knock knock. Yeah.
It was it was good. It was surprisingly good. Now I know why it's a cult classic. It's similar with like
Oh yeah.
I saw that in its entirety like just a couple days ago for the first time. Similarly in like 2017, I saw Mean Girls for the first time.
It's so good.
So good.
So good.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it like the entire time, and watching it, I was like, "This is the paradigm of a movie."
Yeah.
Like every
I've still never
single
seen it.
beat, the entire plot, all the characters, everything is just perfect.
Sometimes you think, oh, this like people are talking about this movie, and you kind of miss it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's all probably all
Yeah.
overblown. You see it later in life, you're like, this shit lives up to the hype.
Yes.
It's really good.
That was
One of the
sick.
few movies.
Yeah,
I was taking Shane through the Hocus Pocus because of the Halloween stuff yesterday, and me and some other people have gotten him through High School Musical as well.
Oh my God.
It's so fun to see Shane realize why his like school peers were acting the way they were.
Oh no!
I never watched it as a kid. In fact, it was barely on my radar. I didn't really watch Disney Channel
I haven't
stuff.
seen any of them.
really.
No.
How old are you, Logan? If I may ask.
24, turning 25 on the 11th of December, actually.
Okay.
Yo.
You might have been on the
What,
younger
really?
side when these came out, so I don't know how influential they
little
were for your
bit,
peer
yeah.
group.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I was like their age, maybe a little younger. But I was like in ninth grade when the first one came out.
Yeah, no, I'm a baby for the wisdom that I have.
It's not Logan. Our birthdays are 2 days apart.
Oh, sick.
Um,
You 14 or
Yeah, born on
I also
13th.
have a birthday in
Oh, 13.
December.
Huh.
Hey.
So
Mario,
here's
you're
the
not
thing. For all the
welcome.
people out there, it seems like a few people in the chat haven't watched High School Musical either. The
That's valid.
the movie is okay. I mean, it's a Disney movie. It's got a big budget, a lot of really attractive, talented young
Yeah,
actors who can
absolutely,
like
yeah.
dance and sing and do all this stuff. It's good. It's not a bad movie.
Well,
A little cheesy,
there,
but you know,
yeah,
Disney
some
movies are like
production
that.
errors. It's
Yeah.
a smaller budget movie.
He's
The
going through emotional
freaking
torment
cultural
because he can't
paradigm
decide.
this movie is, though, the way that it influenced a generation. You had to,
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess, you had to like be there because I'm watching. We watched the second one the same day we did Hocus Pocus, and I'm sitting there like seeing all the dudes in striped polos with popped collars and being like, "That's why
That's
everyone
why,
wore
yep.
that."
Yeah.
and like
It's not real.
see-
it was
Yeah.
seeded. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
And seeing Ashley Tisdale's character Sharpay or whatever, the way she acted and the
Yeah.
song she sang, and I'm like, all the girls in my graduating class were fucking trying to be that. Oh my god.
Which sucks because all the characters in that movie are toxic.
Yeah.
So they made a
Yeah,
whole-
right.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh my god. It's eye opening. And then like the whole time, Dieter can tell you, I was like, I started getting sucked in, and I'm like, Zac Efron's character Troy, like Sharpay, she's the rich girl that people don't know.
Yeah.
She's like coming on to Zac Efron's character,
Yeah.
even though Vanessa Hudgens is supposed to be his like actual girlfriend or whatever. And I'm just
that-
like, this guy I know he won't do it, but he better put a ring on that for Ashley Tisdale because she's rich. Her parents have all these opportunities, and like his
so
friends are getting all
petty.
jealous. Like, you've changed, man. And it's like, fuck you. You're his high school friends. Let him have these opportunities that'll like set him up for life. And hey, if you stay friends with him, he'll give you opportunities too. Like,
Don't be
he'd be like, oh,
petty.
you're looking for a job? Well, I know a guy that knows a guy or whatever. I was like, I
Shame.
was very hardcore on the ship of let him marry Ashley Tisdale's character. And then they even I'm gonna
the
share
capitalist
for you
shit.
guys. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent here, but I'm gonna share
That's fun.
the GIF that I snapped that's in High School Musical 2 that I was like, yes, do it, and he didn't. Spoiler. alert. Fucking too nice.
Shane,
He's too
they
nice.
don't
Have you
know
never
anything
seen a
about
Disney
basketball.
movie? Haven't you learned that's not the answer to happiness?
Yeah.
I thought
Exactly.
the whole. Oh, come on now. It just
This
walks
is the
away.
GIF.
The problem is that he's really gay. It's a narrative problem. Good for him otherwise.
Yeah.
He ends up with Ryan in the
No,
end,
I
actually.
won't settle for that girl. I need like
Oh,
some
what's the other guy?
a different girl, not her though.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not saying she's perfect, but I'm like yelling
Yeah.
at the computer, like, you could fix her, which is not how you should ever go about relationships ever.
Victor,
You can
I'm
make
like,
her
thanks
not
to
who
fix
she
her,
is.
change us
Yeah.
And, you just fucking just
Oh.
pretend
it
you
was-
like her and then try to change her.
You can change her core personality.
All you
Yeah.
need to do is just fall in love with someone, not a real person, someone that's in your mind, the perfect idea of someone you love.
The idea of
You
that
project that onto someone.
Project it.
Project it to someone who has their own problems. Obviously, they have their own failings.
person. Take all her money.
They have a lot of emotional insecurity, and then what you do is you beat the ever-living shit out of them until they become the person that you love.
Until they are what you thought they were.
Exactly.
Even as a joke, I was on board until that point. I don't know about that one. I'm not going to sign off on that. but-
2021.
Don't sign
You
off on
gotta
any of that.
gaslight someone till they're the person you want them to be. That's how you do it.
Yes.
There is, but even in the movie, like everyone learns a lesson, right? And she like mellows out because he has a fucking backbone, and he's like, "I don't like how you're treating my friends, and I don't like you restricting them because you're trying to
You're
get to
kind
me."
of a bitch.
Right?
Yeah.
And she's
Oh,
just
maybe
like,
I
maybe
will.
you're right, right? But then like, it goes both ways. I'm not saying it's all his influence on her. It's like, well, she's gonna influence him. She's gonna give him a taste of the high life, and he's gonna start like bumping shoulders with like people who are like,
Then he'll be
got
an asshole.
connections
Yeah.
and shit.
Look,
It's not
That
all
was the
bad.
whole plot line of 2, and he wasn't happy.
I
That's how he does it.
gotta throw hands with Super Bunny Bun real quick. The reason I can make that joke is because I've been on the receiving end. It's not what I believe.
Oh no!
Oh.
I've been there.
Yo.
I hope you,
Step
well,
up.
obviously are not in that relationship anymore, but
No,
are
no.
like moved,
Yeah.
mentally past
The
that.
fact
Yeah.
that I'm aware of it and can make the joke means that I'm not
Okay.
stupid enough to fall back into that.
Okay.
I guess we should clarify. Tall Tales does not sanction
We don't
or
condone.
give it.
we
Yeah,
don't
we don't
encourage.
condone domestic
Condoning-
violence of any kind
Look,
against
like-
anybody.
Yes.
We already defined evil early on with the superpowers. It's when you actively negatively influence another person's life intentionally. And negatively, obviously, being selfish without regarding the fact that they are a self.
Keynote intentionally.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't-
that's what it is. Because like,
Yeah.
if it's unintentional, there's room for improvement. Otherwise,
Right.
Could I open up discussion about alignment in like D&D, if that's okay?
So I actually, do you guys know
boy.
James Hayek?
No.
Oh, he.
He sounds familiar.
Hold on, I'm gonna clout drop here. He wrote, or he helped write, Matthew Mercer's campaign setting, Wildmount, I believe.
Oh, that guy.
He helped write Dragon Heist, and he now works for Ghostfire, who I work for, and we had a little podcast. And we talked about alignment, and during that, my shitty cat. So I have two cats. One is my sweet boy who breaks things, and one is a piece of garbage who's invisible all the time. The piece of garbage caught and brought in a small bird into my house while we were talking about alignment, and it just started flying around. I had to go catch it.
Oh no.
So alignment is something else. I still am excited to talk about it. I have similar opinions, but let's go for it. And then we will close out the podcast with that.
Okay. I didn't know if anyone else had anything. I thought maybe this
Yeah,
was
we can
kind of
go for
interesting
40
because I've been
minutes
thinking
with
about it.
this.
Because
Yeah.
evil, one of the things I've always kind of not liked, especially when I started playing like Pathfinder with a specific group, someone would play a paladin, lawful good, right? Classically, anyway, and they would see a
most
thief,
evil.
and they go, "I will smite thee because you are a thief," and it's like. So they will play something I like to call lawful stupid, where any
Lawful
lawbreaker
stupid is lawful evil.
Yes,
I like
exactly.
that actually.
It is lawful
Yeah.
evil.
So, but like the thing is, like anything that's evil, if they detect it, then that thing is irredeemable and they must be smited or whatever. And like, I always
that's
thought
how
that
all
was
evil
a
people
weird
feel.
definition of evil because like things that are evil. People imagine are like a megalomaniacal and trying to rule the world, destroy it, or something like that.
It's
A lot of like, dude, a thug is evil, but he's not trying to rule the world. He's just selfish to a fault.
there.
That I feel like is evil.
There's a really
Then-
specific biological perspective that I have on this that I think our concept of evil is derived from. And so everyone has an ego. Everyone has, you can see the world under that sense. I'm not saying that is absolute, but everyone has a perspective that they've generated. And from that, it's really funny that what you think is right to you. Absolutely. So if you see things that are wrong, you want to correct them because you're afraid. You're afraid that these things that you think are evil are going to negatively influence the world. They're going to hurt you and hurt the people that you like. So instead of understanding them or trying to figure out why they hurt, because life is pain, welcome to Buddhism, it's the sort of thing where like I'm going to destroy that and teach that person that I'm right and they're wrong. The moment you start doing that, it literally, that is the definition of what a virus is something that attacks another system and turns it into itself. So when you become a religious zealot like a lawful good paladin, you're the epitome of evil. You're trying to go all over the place, destroy diversity, destroy other people's opinions, and turn them into your own. The moment that the world becomes symbiotic, becomes singular, where everyone agrees on everything, it's over. The world's done. There's no reason to do anything. Diversity is life. And people who try and destroy diversity because they have this diluted concept of correctness or what is factual, what is truth, comes entirely from ignorance.
I've had so many weird times where I've had that lawful kind of stupid player at a game, and it always was so odd to me when that person will think, like 100% out of character thing. Yeah, my character's a good guy. It's like you a guy was rude to you at a shop
The
and you
villain
killed
thinks
him.
that too.
Yeah.
A guy said a mean thing to you and you're like, I will smite you, you fiend.
You deserve to be destroyed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like from 1 to 100. Anyone who's at 100 all the time is
Exact.
that-
Yeah.
I wouldn't say evil. I wouldn't say that like evil is a thing. You are a destructive force. You are
Right.
you are a catalyst. The fact that you're changing everything to be reformed to be like you isn't necessarily entirely destructive unless you're perfectly successful, which is a horrific, unrealistic concept.
It's the
But
reason
If
why.
you think about Luffy, it's like it's the same thing. He's rapidly destroying ways of life because he thinks that they should be a different way. It falls back. Alignment is something that I'll always fight because it falls back on what you think is right and wrong, and that neither of those are real.
I think that the thing is, I do think that morality exists outside of like humans, though, because people like to think, oh, and no shade on anyone who's religious here who believes in like God-given morality.
No, yeah.
Whatever, like that's
Oh,
cool. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe.
That's what I was saying. Is diversity is fundamental to nature. So if you disagree with me, let's just celebrate that. We don't need to fight, kind of thing.
So I think in nature you can see moral sort of like rules in social animals like lions and like wolves who live in prides and packs, right? They have morals in the sense that they have social habits and rules. If a lion starts to get like shitty and aggressive and murderous with the other lions, it gets ousted from the pack. It's exiled. They can't cooperate, and so the rest of the pack's like fuck off, right? That is a survival, evolutionary. That is like a survival thing that we have evolved. So morals are essentially a more elevated form of this sort of inborn social mindset
It's
of
almost
like, look,
a misunderstanding of survival tactics.
kind of, yeah. Like we know that like when we were hunter-gatherers, we all had to be generalists. We all had to be really equally good at navigating the world and having a geological map, at hunting and gathering, at like helping people, like as a medic in this
Just to
situation.
cut in really quick, for people who disagree with us or are uncomfortable with the topic, just perceive this as a hypothetical conversation. Because we don't know what we're talking about. No one's ever known. Like if you think back to old practices of
This is a
medicine.
highly debated
Yeah,
subject.
everything could be debated. Like if you think back to old medical practices, they are just as debatable as the ones we have now in the future.
Right.
So
We were not there.
Yeah.
I'm only arguing from what I have seen
Yes.
from historical evidence that I have seen. There's a lot of stuff we haven't seen.
Just
So
as a clarification, we are speaking from our own egos necessarily.
but like basically the idea of morality at its core is what you said, Logan. It's what's harmful, right? And
To you and the things that you want to not be harmed, more or less.
exactly. And so because we like evolved to have more advanced reasoning skills than say other life forms, like we apply that to that survival instinct of what's harmful to us or what we care about. And so it becomes this sort of like removed thing that's like, is such and such actually morally like for example, smoking cigarettes as a benign example. Is that morally wrong, especially for like kids smoke cigarettes? That was a huge topic of debate, right? And people still have feelings on that. But like that's not has
lot of
nothing to
money
do
from
with like our core survival instinct.
Yeah.
That is like an elevated, like almost separate thing that stems from the inborn.
Yeah, there is
thing.
a really interesting concept that I wanted to just kind of build off on that because I think it's interesting, where the fact that people sink money into like lobbying and types of lobbying. So there is a more historic term for magic called mana, which is similar to karma. We don't understand either because they're not English words. One is Sanskrit and the other is Hawaiian, I believe, or something close to it. But essentially, neither of them are magical. They're based on what you've done leading up to now. If you have friendships, if you have people who like you, they technically constitute as forms of karma or mana. It's like this energy that you've accumulated as you've been living continuously. So people who lobby against things like that, people who were able to fight aggressively with crazy amounts of money saying kids can smoke, that was their assertion over the reality that they're a part of, which is interesting to think about. That's like they're using fucking magic to be like, no, kids can smoke cigarettes. I can.
Yeah. I don't know, guys. I think Smoker from One Piece is actually a pretty good character. If you really think about
It's
it.
kinda epic.
I'm gonna lobby for Smoker.
Uh,
He needs
There's
to be
always-
an admiral.
Like
He
for
needs to
D&D, a perspective I've always taken with alignment is that there are certain things that, like, if anything, I tend to think of people from like almost like people from the material plane are almost outside of alignment.
Yeah, they're a
Where they
culmination
are-
of all alignments.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they can be whatever, because at the end of the day, someone can call somebody evil, but they're still just a person. They have somebody with their own ideals and their
Yeah.
own like thoughts of stuff. But like when a demon comes from the abyss and it's like literally like I only seek destruction and,
Yeah.
and terror,
Yeah.
or it's
Ironic
like
culmination.
yeah, it's
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what's really
and
interesting?
it's
No,
because
I
I had
your
an-
thought. Sorry.
I had a back and forth with a friend of mine where he was saying I can't believe in like a creature that is like he, because I was trying to argue about this where I'm like, well, I feel like devils and things are probably still fall under that.
Mhm.
And it becomes a point where it's like, do they really have morality if they are a creature that can't really make a choice
Yeah,
against
they're fundamental.
being like this?
Yeah, that's their nature.
Mm.
It's simplistic, which is peaceful.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never really dealt with alignment much. I like to give
Oh, that's fair.
I have all my players have it for a point of reference if something comes up mechanically
So-
wise where
What fucking? I'm so upset that he said this because it shattered my whole concept of alignment. D&D is not D&D. It is a system built off of chainmail, an old war system. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
created by Gary Gygax. So technically, you could even consider it a mistranslation, which already just makes like fuck everything. That
Right.
ruins
Oh, yeah.
everything that we've been talking about.
yeah.
But it's a mistranslation of instead of alignment, it's alliance.
Mm.
So instead of what
Ah.
what your moral compass is, it's what creatures are more or less likely to be friends with you.
Yeah.
Who you
Yeah, I
relate
like
to
that,
more.
actually. That-
So lawful
That sounds like a
good.
good way to do it.
Good is self-righteous. Evil is
Yes.
selfish.
Mm.
That's all it is.
Uh-huh.
Neither
Yeah,
of them
pretty
are
much.
wrong or right. One's just more abstract. So if you
So-
have like demon friends, it's because you're fucking crazy, and they're like, we're fucking
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
too. Let's
Insane,
fucking
dude,
yeah.
what the fuck?
So I have a metaphysical theory about this completely fictional world
Yeah.
of D&D,
Mhm.
based on the sort of idea of the positive energy plane and the negative energy plane, and the way that they draw
yeah.
it in the maps.
They deleted
way they
it,
draw
too,
it-
which is sad.
It's kind of cool because like the
I
out,
love
so
it.
you got the inner planes, you've got the material plane, all that shit, and then you got the elemental planes around it that kind of form the material plane, and its iterations, the Feywild, the Shadowfell,
Yeah.
and then you've got the outer planes, and you've got good planes that are called the upper planes. Although I think physically it's not technically up.
No, they're like
or anything.
northern
They just call it
and
that.
like
They
southern.
just give it a
It's- yeah,
direction.
it's not. It's spherical in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
That and like in the multiverse, the way it's sort of situated in the
speak?
astral
It's just
plane
weird.
is sort of like
Which is
that.
it's cool that if you think of it as a wheel goes.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
thought about that.
That's
The upper
Mhm.
planes. That's a
I-
really cool fucking thing to think about.
That-
I never thought about that either, but
that was just spontaneous.
that is
Witcher,
that's
um,
actually a good idea.
Witcher's actual system is pretty neat actually.
It falls in
where
line to
they're
the yin and yang concept.
Mhm.
There is no good or evil.
Yeah.
They're just,
Yeah. Two halves.
But
Oh,
let me
or
fi-
you
I'll
know.
finish my thought.
yeah,
real
no
quick.
good.
Oh, all right.
Positive energy plane is like a shell on one side where the upper planes are. When they draw it, that's how they draw that.
Mhm.
And then the negative energy plane is like the other hemisphere, the other shell on the other side of the multiverse, where the lower planes are at.
Mhm.
So one of the things I've always thought, as someone who loves playing Necromancy, and I'm like arguing this stuff in the chat with people
Oh yeah.
right now.
I see that.
When you give creatures who are for example, necromancy, like animated using negative energy. Skeletons and zombies are innately evil aligned. Now, your magic gives you immediate control over what they do, so they're not going to do anything you don't that you tell them not to do, right?
Which is funny that they have an intelligence basis that should technically make them unaligned.
Skeletons are actually more intelligent than zombies. Should be unaligned. Technically, you're right.
It's a intelligence of 4 or less, right?
Skeletons have 6 actually, because they can use weapons, open doors, and stuff.
Yeah,
They're more intelligent
okay.
for some reason.
Yeah.
Huh.
A little weird, but the
They're
idea
smart as
is.
octopus.
So my theory is that you're taking a body, and a body. I mean, you've got ki. Like monks can utilize their ki, but that means you've got this life energy, these channels
It's
that
your
essentially.
influence, yeah.
Right.
ego.
Basically, your soul power is your key, and monks use that, and it's why they're funky and weird and different from other classes. Is because they're the only ones that can do
Yeah,
that.
baby.
So,
Hey.
hell yeah. So with necromancy, you're taking a body and it has these ley lines through the bones and all this stuff, and you are reanimating it with your negative. You're channeling negative energy in a sense, necrotic energy, which is just energy, by the way. Radiant energy, just like fire, any sort of energy type. It's just energy. But because it comes from the negative energy plane, when you give it intelligence, the nature of that energy
Is to be
given
destructive.
intelligence becomes evil, because
It's destructive.
necrotic is
Negative,
to
yeah.
take. It
It is-
takes
yes.
energy away. That's why
Which is why
blight
it's
is like
cold.
withering stuff away.
It's
and
the same
wilting.
thing like cold touch or chilling touch. It's necrotic damage because
Right.
it goes down to an atomic level. How the negative energy plane is static. Nothing
So
changes.
imagine
That's
the
so,
nature
that's
that
so interesting.
yes, the nature of that
Cold
energy, you
damage
give
and
that
necrotic
intelligence.
damage are
What
technically
is
the same.
taking? It's selfishness.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, that's
radiance, radiance. Now you can still murder the fuck out of someone with guiding bolts.
But it's
Oh, yeah,
for
of course.
someone. It's for,
Right,
it's for the
it's
sake
in
of life,
abundance.
yeah.
You're giving so much their body can't take it. They blow up, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like,
I like that.
give radiant energy,
Have my love.
intelligence, and that's giving selflessness. That's supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And when you look at the because the outer planes are supposed to actually be aligned,
Yeah.
like at the core, right?
Yeah.
And they
They're based on the mental perception of mortals. So.
right. Not every angel's going to do what you as a mortal who has the power to discern right from wrong thinks is actually good. They are acting in accordance with the energy that makes up their actual physical being as outsiders, which is positive energy, right? And then
Exclusively,
the further down the wheel you go, the more of a mix you get. So like, and then lawful chaotic, I mean, that
Lawful
different ways
chaotic.
you could interpret that, right?
Yeah.
But like the idea
That's the pure
my-
yin yang kind of thing.
the idea in my brain is like if I'm using animate dead to raise skeletons or zombies, right? To say, and I gave this, and I'm going on a Pepe Sylvia rant here. I apologize, but if
I'm not evil.
let's,
The skeletons are.
let's say I'm like some sort of like cleric or something living on a small town, and wouldn't you know it, brigands, raiders from the north come down and start attacking. And they do this every summer, but this year it's really bad. And people are like, your own people are dying. Is it evil to use your ability to raise their bodies to continue the defense of their homes, their loved ones while they were alive? Is that evil?
No.
Taking it a step further, what if people agree that that's okay? How about, you know what? We're behind on a farm. If we don't have enough hands on these farms and these ranches to harvest enough food, we're going to starve during the winter. Let's use these people that unfortunately passed away to continue the work to make more, to
That's the
produce more
problem.
food for
Yeah.
people.
Morality is entirely based on community. It's what is best for me and the people I care about or the people that I rely on. So it comes from kind of like troops of monkeys. We're full circle now. We're an Ouroboros podcast. But the idea of that, like, I looked it up actually. The chimpanzees, I think, whatever we're closely related to, they have troops, and occasionally one of them leaves and may join another troop or get killed by them. And then whether or not that happens, it still affects that other troop. So it's interesting that like morality at its very core is based on who you're friends with and what they value.
Right.
Which at the core of it, like that's the whole friendship was the answer kind of thing. But ironically, biologically, friendship is the answer to survival cumulatively.
It is, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
which
the
is
reason why I
ridiculous.
mentioned the
Yeah.
generalist thing. Like,
Yeah,
we
exactly.
became specialists because we got to rely on other people to do the hard
Mhm.
stuff. So we all did our own thing, and we got really
Yeah.
good at doing one thing.
It shifted, like our whole community kind of squashes like a beanbag or something. It's really weird. Isn't it?
Or something else squishy.
Yeah, or something
Yeah.
squishy, like
Some
a-
squishy metaphor.
like a boob or-
Chaotic squishy.
That's what all of us are. A bunch of boobs
It's
talking
chaotic
about.
squish.
Thank you
It's
for
just
letting me go on that rant. I
Yeah.
love playing
Oh, yeah,
Necromancers, and I have thought about this literally for like
Yeah,
10
yeah.
years.
I was
so.
gonna say
Yeah.
I made a necromancer character a lot like that, where raiders broke into his house and killed his family, and he was saving up to take them out of the area. So he went and found like his ancestors' necromantic book and was like, "I'm gonna bring them back to life. We're gonna go on vacation, whether I live or die." It's like I don't fucking care. So he takes a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah.
zombies with him, and they go on vacation. He's got them all dressed up. It's the cutest thing because when he dies, their souls like get untangled and they all go together.
Ah.
Aw.
But yeah, this
Uh.
was a super fun podcast. Honestly, this is a lot easier than some of the other formats. And
I was wondering today
Yeah.
because before you said what we were doing, I was like, so do I need to know what like level we're?
yeah, no, it's a lot more relaxing. We could probably throw together like a story just as a segment of this, but I feel like definitely just having a relaxing like podcast conversation is nice. Takes the
Oh,
edge
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. We surprisingly went over our normal time, which I'm really happy about.
Oh,
This was
hey.
nice. Had a good
Yeah.
time. Donations
There you
aren't
go.
needed. We vibing. This is a good
Yo.
Halloween.
We're just shooting the shit,
Yeah,
man.
shooting the shit.
Thank you everybody for sticking with us and
Yeah.
getting involved in this debate about the ethics of necromancy versus enchantment, which was another thing
Yeah.
people were talking about. Because I was like, enchantment's actually evil because you're overriding the will of a living
Yes.
creature.
Or
Yeah,
an
yeah.
abstract spirit like an elemental.
Oh
It's like
yes,
you're
yes, I
enslaved-
would
you're-
100% agree.
You're doing
Yeah,
the
y'all,
bad work to them.
Oh no.
You are.
Y'all remember when Wizards released the Cleric Domain of Love for
Yeah.
5 seconds? They took it away.
Oh
and
my God.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, that's bad.
I didn't hear you say that. Yeah, I think
It
I
was
think
creepy.
we're
It
gonna
was all
drop that.
charm based. It was like, ugh.
Oh, that's not love.
Mm.
Yeah, one of the things that's one of the things about enchantment that I'm just sort of like, I have seen more ruined lives from bards than I have from necromancers.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
they
Ruin way more lives than fucking necromancers.
Absolutely.
they they start
keep to
like
the-
meddling
they-
in people.
They keep to their own.
It's
Yeah.
like yeah,
It's just like the Shrek face, like the like just sitting
Yeah,
over
the-
there, like feeding
Yeah,
your
yeah,
little
yeah.
zombies a plate of bones, and then the bard's just like whipping his dick. I'm over here, man.
Yeah.
listen, the necromancer teamed up with the heroes to save you guys, and you guys get angry at him,
Mm.
but nobody gets angry at the guy that like slept with your wife because you just didn't know.
I mean, real quick, I could share my first character ever. I actually made an animation about. It was like this sort of whatever cleric, and I voiced it with my voice because to kind of signify I wasn't really sure what I was doing when I started playing because it was my first time, right?
It's good to
But then
admit.
after that, when I got a taste, I was like, ooh, I know what I want to do. Because I realized Pathfinder, you could use necromancy as like a thing. And my DM was cool with it. So,
Yeah, it's not really
I made-
classified in 5e.
oh, hell yeah. I made a necromancer. And everyone was going into this goblin mine. Basically, a mine overtaken by goblins. And so I was like someone who went to like take out the goblins, but then got captured. And I escaped, found the group, and I had 2 skeletons with me. And I looked at both of them and I was like, let me explain.
Love that.
And so, like, essentially, what I did was I put down. I had a scythe. I was really evil looking. I looked very fucking evil. I looked like a bad Doctor Strange. So I like put down my scythe. I crisscross legged on the ground. And I had my skeletons do the same. And we were in this mine shaft as they were entering the mine, and I was like exiting, being pursued. And I was like, I am here to take out the goblins. It seems like you're here for the same reason because I don't think you're miners. You don't look like miners. I would love to help you if you would just forgive the fact that I am using the Fallen to help me take out the people that killed them. If that's cool, if you're cool with that, then let's
I
boogie.
really like any kind of undead where it's like, oh, these guys have a semblance of themselves. They're not just nothing.
Oh, yeah,
they're
that's
not
really
animated.
cool.
They are
Yeah.
undead.
Mhm.
In the
I like-
book that I'm writing now, actually, so the Isles they're based on like Polynesian Hawaiian culture, which there's no such thing as undeath. That's a stupid idea. It doesn't make any sense. But there are people who are based in Norse mythology that come and settle the area, and they bring the magic of undeath to this location.
Oh, that's
So
how you
it's
do it.
like clashing religions and practices that are both functional. So they start raising these undead, and they're fundamentally evil because they're used under the influence of this like gross tyrant.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because technically the rituals of undeath and like self-empowerment through sacrifices, it's a perversion of like a sacrifice ritual. It's like, we lay this body now to rest. And instead, he just fucking like wrote in, "We don't lay this body down." It's such a weird system, but
It's
yeah,
funny, but it keep moving though.
yeah, it keep moving.
Yeah. I like.
yeah.
I think in the monster manual, there's like some stuff where I forget where I heard about it, but there's like little things about if you resurrect a skeleton and you leave it be, it'll have some semblance of who it used to be, and it'll sometimes like if you resurrected a farmer and you're at their farm and you just don't give it any orders, it might just start wandering around. It'll start picking up tools, start
Cool.
farming because it's regular day to
I
day.
love those concepts.
I
yeah.
agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It's like
I-
cerebellum stuff, like
Yeah.
muscle memory, or
Yeah.
I guess bone memory in this case.
I-
Or just temporal memory. Like if it's
was
just
playing
a
Dead
skeleton, it's just
Rising,
like that's what this thing did, and if you're raising this thing, it's gonna still be
Right.
it.
It has
Right.
enough intelligence to enact those motions
Mm-hmm.
and think, and like it thinks in the sense of like, this is what I do,
Yeah.
right? So it has that enough of that like personhood.
It's-
but
it's
then
like
like outside of that,
The personhood becomes like a quantum, like it's fundamentally what these like minerals are charged to do. Like these bones are going to keep doing that thing if you're going to animate them, because that's what they did when they were. It's a
Right.
lot of weird ways that you can go about explaining that, but I think all of them fundamentally make like it's really cool. It's cool
Yeah.
that it's the person
necromancy is such a
persevering it.
cool idea.
I love
It's
it
so
so
cool.
much. I
Yeah,
think-
Dead Rising. I was playing Dead Rising 2 recently, and they had something I thought was really cool where there was zombies still gambling in the casino, and some zombies were just doing the stuff they did in their normal life. Like
Mhm.
there's one in particular of a zombie pulling the lever and banging on the machine just angrily. I thought was such a nice touch.
That's
that-
awesome.
that at a
And that
nickel
makes
arcade
sense
and
because
got
it's an
banned.
addiction. It becomes who you are, like your identity. And when something's your
Oh,
identity,
yeah.
that
Yeah.
if you were raised as a skeleton, you ought to keep doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like that. With
It was
Like,
a real nice touch.
picturing
I want to say there was a
this.
gender zombie, so like a workaholic. So
I
I,
was
thought that was
raised
really
as a
cool that-
skeleton.
Yeah, I was gonna
You know,
say. Yeah, like I was like, I know what he means, but
My parents screwed me up right. I was raised as a skeleton.
I was in the calcium mines.
It's kind of
Back in
funny
my
because
day, we were raised to do what we still did in life.
Mm.
it's kind of funny because like the idea of raising a skeleton to fight for you, right?
Mm.
it's
Specifically,
very specific, yeah.
right. I think the way I would rule it for people out there DMing stuff, if you want to have a bit more, 5e with necromancy is extremely basic. There's like in Pathfinder as a counterexample, they have like templates, like a skeleton template you apply to a creature.
I like
To, like,
that, yeah.
Yeah, to like okay, so like if you're a necromancer, you can only raise a creature that has a number of hit die equal to like half your level, I think,
Yeah.
rounded up.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like you could it can't be as strong as you, but it can be half as strong as you, kind of is the
That's
idea.
a standard, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
you
and-
apply this template, and the template usually makes it stronger anyway. So it's sort of like you get a little bit of a boost on it. But something I wanted to mention was like the skeleton in the monster manual has armor scraps and a sword, right? And this is supposed to
It's
be a
very-
monster. You go into a crypt, and this is the thing you're fighting,
It's very
right?
rigid every
Yeah.
time it has those things, yeah.
Yeah. So let's pretend a necromancer decides to grave rob. Well, most of the graves are probably, if it's like a village, farmers,
Honestly,
fishermen.
children are about half the graves you can see. I've been to like a few local graves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Ooh,
like 7
yeah.
A
year
lot of kids.
Mhm.
So like they're not combatants in life.
No.
So the idea that they would be combatants in death is kind of weird, right? They
Yes.
don't really have a brain
No.
anymore. You can't teach them
No,
shit.
when you get raised as an undead as a commoner, you literally gain stats.
Yeah. A lot of stats. It's like, oh my
Like,
god, it's
the
Jason
health
Bourne
makes
every
sense,
time.
and
Yeah.
there's an argument about having a stronger adrenaline or constitution, but to the degree they get, it's wild.
It is pretty crazy,
Hmm.
yeah. So I think something for DMs at home, like you could do, experiment with, like, if you want to have necromancers, experiment with like the zombie and I mean, they have the three, right? The zombie, the ogre zombie, and then actually four. Then the skeleton and the minotaur skeleton, right? So they got the four.
They have
Oh, yeah,
beholders
yeah.
as well.
Technically, sorry to butt in, but the book that I'm
No,
working
no.
on now, because they're like a quarter, I don't think any of them are. There isn't like a half challenge rating undead, so I'm filling in like all those gaps to make sure that each encounter can be like applicable to each level. So
Anywhere, yeah.
I have a
Are you
lesser,
making a zombie kid?
no, a lesser Draugr, which is a half challenge
Okay.
rating. And then I have like a normal Draugr, which is like 1, and then better ones, which are 2. So you can really fill out like the mixture of. They have like really crappy undead right now. There's no diversity. So
I mean, Van Richten's guide and Volo's guide added some
Yeah.
cool undead, but they're super high CR for the most
exactly,
part.
yeah. Volo starts
Yeah.
at like
Yeah.
CR6 or like
Right.
CR4 at very minimum. I think there's like 1.
Yeah, they're really meant to be swarms or just a minor inconvenience
and
for a
Yeah.
I
party.
don't like that. I feel like a lot of monsters, there should be like, oh, there's the big guy or 1 or 2 big guys and then like a few minions. It shouldn't just be, oh,
Yeah.
there's 1 skeleton, oh, there's 50 skeletons, shoot.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It's
there's the weird specification of if you die as a paladin, or now to add warlocks as well, the deathlocks, those are pretty cool. If you die as one of them, you get to be super uber powerful, cool person, but you could be a level 20 fighter and get raised as a zombie, and
Yeah.
you're
Right.
literally
you're still CR18, yeah.
this
So-
is
Yeah,
why the template in Pathfinder was really useful.
Yeah, that sounds
The
cool.
only the issue is because Pathfinder's a very number crunchy.
Yeah.
What I did for my DM was
Yeah.
I had index cards for any minion that I like raised. I was keeping track of everything
just
because I didn't
prepared.
want him to have
Smart.
to deal with the numbers.
Yeah, that's probably the better thing to do. Just
Yeah.
be like, here's
Still-
here's the thing that I'm ready
That
for.
is the problem, is you have to actively apply that template to everything every time you do it, which it's good. It's the toss of creativity, variety, and a guide.
it.
Mhm.
It feels like there should be
secret
some
that I-
loose templates, like maybe a Dex warrior template, a Strength warrior template, a Spellcaster template, because they do that with vampires.
Xanathar's
where-
tried. It added some NPCs, and then so does the Monsters Guide.
I'm laughing at the chat right now because someone Monty was like, all right, now that we're done with alignment, let's talk challenge ratings. And then someone was like 6 hours later. Oh, 6 is
Yeah.
generous. Run up to 18 and throw a break in there.
Yeah.
Immediately
Yeah.
we touched the two most let's fight about this topic.
Yeah, I don't use.
Yeah,
You know
but-
what? Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
We
go
talked
ahead.
about alignment and we got really deep for a bit.
Yeah.
Always does, because I'm
Let-
Get
here.
philosophical.
It felt like the
It's
Gen
gonna-
Con
Can't stop
conversation
me.
all over again.
If we
What
wanna
do you
touch-
really think?
If we touch really quick on challenge ratings, just as like a tip for like other DMs out there,
Oh.
I don't really use them that much. I like kind of a
Me neither.
baseline, like okay, the publisher's meant for this to be that way, but then I look at three sort of, I guess, 4 aspects. How much hit points? AC, super duper important because everybody uses AC for almost everything, right?
Yeah.
AC is super important.
I write supplements so I could fight you on this.
Yeah. So hit points and AC, and you got to remember bounded accuracy. So even if you feel the urge to give something 20 AC, do not do that.
No.
Please lower the
Yeah,
AC.
oh,
Make it
no.
reasonable.
Unless
right?
you
remember
have
bounded accuracy.
like a party of level 17s or higher.
Yeah.
That's the intention.
right. If your final
15 or
boss
16, yeah.
can have 20 or higher AC, the final boss, but a minion should never. Anyway,
exceed
that's a
18.
different topic.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I get
18
what you
is a
mean.
pretty
Yeah.
good
So
high number.
These stats.
And then
yeah.
then you have to take into account number of attacks, right? And then attack bonus and damage of whatever other effects there are, right? So if you can kind of feel out, right? Like remember, here's something that's really helpful. If you have level 2 characters, party of 5, let's say, right? They're going to be average around like 12 to 15 hit points.
Yeah.
Depending, right? You're going to have tanks who are like at 22 or something.
The average. So I have had to math this out. So it's the average hit points for every class is a D8. You start with an 8. the average Constitution bonus is 1 to 2, so everyone should naturally have about 9 hit points at the beginning of the game, and then after that you do a 4.5 for most of them, and then or a 5.
Right.
But
Yeah, exactly. And I'm DMing something with Dieter right now. Dieter's playing the tankiest character, who's also the shortest and smallest character. It's very funny. With 22 hit points at level 2, I think. Something like that. You're over 20.
I am.
And then like the lowest I think is like in the early teens, right? Like 13 or 14 or something. So that considered, remember that every level you give characters adds 4.5 or more hit points, depending, you could adjust it for your party, to everybody. That's across the board. That's how much extra damage they can take as a group, right? So when you are like balancing stuff and you're trying to figure out the CR of a creature, keep in mind everyone's sort of average AC. Keep in mind everyone's average hit points.
This goes for traps too. And
Traps too.
encounters.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And also the lead up too. So like if you got a dungeon crawl, right? Obviously it's more harrowing to have lots of traps and challenges that'll wear them down, use up their spell slots, use
Can't
up
do
their
more
hit
than
points.
3 though. Can't just fuck with the party and do a string of traps.
Yeah.
It's a narrative thing. But
That's
it's
a little.
It's based on, I think,
got you.
if you want a normal trap, you do like a quarter of the type of D8 that the party's currently at. So if they have like, if they're level 8, 8d8, so you can do like 2d8 plus 2 damage for a trap like that if you want it to be mundane. There's weird little math loops that you can do like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like equations and such
Yeah.
to try to like, yeah.
That's what you were saying though. The problem is a monster's mortality versus its DPR, its damage per round. So there's a median between its AC and its hit points, and at fucking like level 20 there just isn't. It's like this is AC 20 and these are the stupid number of hit points based on its size, which is
Right.
ridiculous.
546.
Yeah, that's like a ancient
At level
gold
20,
dragon or
yeah.
something.
That's like,
It's-
I think even the
Five-
Tarrasque, the
no.
regular Tarrasque has more than that.
526
No.
is around CR 24. The Tarrasque has like
600.
300. Are you sure? No,
I think it's in the 600s. I thought. Maybe I'm
thinking of
wrong.
something else. No, it has resistance to everything.
I
so
ran
I
it
don't know.
recently. It's like 630, I think.
Okay,
something
yeah.
like that.
Okay.
But that is its point. Is its mortality is a lot bigger than its versatility, which
Yeah.
is another. Yeah, it's the funny little triad of how smart, how fast, how big, kind of thing.
Okay, this is good, actually. Has anyone played Chrono Trigger?
No, actually.
No.
sadly.
I have sadly not.
Shoot.
I'm familiar with
Wow.
it, but I have not played it.
Hey,
Never
All
thought
right,
about
people
that.
in chat who
some of the old
played.
Dra-
Nobody hears.
I
It's
played
okay,
some
no, this is
Dragon
actually
Quest
cool.
games,
So this is
but
a
I've not
really-
played it.
Oh, sorry, Paul.
I'll just say I played some of the Dragon Quest games, but I never got to play it.
Okay. I don't know what the stories are for Dragon Quest, but one of the main things in Chrono Trigger, and
Same people.
look, if you haven't played Chrono Trigger and you don't want spoilers, this is kind of like it's been
mechanics.
25,
Yeah.
30 years at
Your
this point.
God, it's been a-
So
There's
Lady-
12
I will
people
say
watching,
this.
you don't have to discuss
there's a
expose you on Twitter
character
who stole
in
this,
Chrono
Shane.
Trigger
Mhm.
that starts off as one of the big bosses of the game. And if you play your cards right, they become a potential party member later.
Mhm.
Something that people noticed and have noticed for a long time is that their stats change. They don't stay boss stats
Yeah.
with
Right.
thousands of hit points to take on an entire party of people. They get a severely reduced amount of hit points and then a boost in their attack power, because the way that those sort of RPGs are balanced is that they're meant to tank all the hits of your party and deal just enough damage to challenge you, but not maybe like knock you outright unless it's supposed to be
Yeah.
very deadly, right? So when it becomes a party member, they had to rekit this
Yeah.
character because they were like, well, this person is joining your party. They're gonna have a higher than average amount of hit points, but they're still gonna have like way less than what they did when they were a boss
Yeah.
against you. You know what I mean?
No, it pisses me off in 5e where minotaurs and the races that I've been making for this book, where minotaurs are like CR5 or CR3 or something,
Yeah.
and then you have the minotaur like that players can play. They're shorter,
the
they're weaker,
the
they're
Ravnica ones
terrible,
suck.
they're awful, and then like
Yeah.
we're making a race of 2 races of lobster people. One is a mantis shrimp person and one is
Oh,
a
cool.
lobster person. the Decapodians called Ula Ula I'm sorry, that's a butchered pronunciation. Hawaiian's really hard to speak. And then the Manti. But these things are like challenge rating 4 and challenge rating 5 each. So when you get a player, it's like, oh, we have to strip a bunch of these abilities. You don't have like these hit points, these resistances. And it's super silly that it's like that you have to balance it like that just because it's a war-based game. It always is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But
Like thing in anime where it's like, or the enemy is super nerfed once they become a friend.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
that kind of
Literally everyone in Dragon Ball.
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
that was a
in
tangent.
in bounded accuracy, right? They account for that, right? Because they're like, all right, we'll give you a CR because we feel like parties of around this level have this amount of power, and obviously, if you're playing with like new people, that makes sense. But you always got to check it. Always check any. Don't just throw a random creature. I feel like that's really bad. Always check.
Oh yeah.
Hit points, attack power, damage, NAC, right? Like those 4 metrics are really, really important to make sure that it's not overpowered, because once there are a lot of TPKs at low CRs because people thought, well, so it's CR3, but it's like,
Yeah.
no, that thing fucking kills everybody.
Yeah.
Like the
And
Ellip
thinking
is a
about
good
it,
example of that.
yeah, and when
it's-
you think about it, the way that like this character from Chrono Trigger, like the way they had to change his stats,
Yeah.
that helps.
Mhm.
Right? That helps a lot, because then you're like, okay, the reason they changed the stats is because there's a different sort of mechanism going on. Basically, the bosses have about the same attack power, maybe a little larger, just a little bit, than like the characters, right?
Mhm.
To kind of show that the characters are really strong. But like, if they had the same hit points, they'd fall like that. So they have to have a ton of hit points. Yeah. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. It's a good point.
There's also like that little debate on like what do hit points really represent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a mix
Yeah.
of your vitality and your willpower, which is it's weird that wisdom doesn't help your hit points.
Hit
If
points.
that is the concept, yeah, it should. But
Yeah.
that's a whole other debate. We've gotten into a bunch of them. We're close to 3 hours aside from break time. But
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's
I
make
think-
it 4.
okay.
Are we wrapping up? Someone wanted to
4 hour
ask us
stream, let's
about cursed items. What we thought about those?
That'll get us going another while. So
I-
y'all
I
gotta
got-
think about it.
That's
I researched too many different cultures. That's such a wide thing. Can't do that.
All right. Do you
Shut
want to
up.
save it for your next time on Tall Tales?
Honestly, let's just make this like Tall Talks or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
tall
that'd be
talks,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, but that'll be fun. This is the length of 3 podcasts. You're welcome, you bastards. That's a good old
Yay.
Halloween. There's a lot of meat in there to dig through while you're doing homework. But until the next time, actually, I believe next week, if I can stick to it, we'll be doing a one shot based on Dingo Doodles.
Oh,
Their
Really?
world setting, yeah, with Felix. What's the
Fool's
far,
Gold.
the far
Fool's Gold,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bellowing Wilds,
I have
yeah,
a PDF. The
technically.
Bellowing Wilds. Thank you. I actually made a magic item for that. It's a candle that if you light it, it turns into a guy, and if you light it again, it turns into a translucent guy that watches over your camp. It's a really cool idea. Grab that shit. The Kickstarter's coming out really soon. We're gonna do just a little one shot in there. I'm gonna hopefully talk to everyone as we go, but that'll be next week. We'll see who's available. Hopefully, these rotten piles of monkey, Jacob and Fell, they'll be alive again, and season 2 will come full circle. Until next week, you guys. Thank you guys for joining me again. I have been Spooky Smith. That was Last Minute Ditter, Spooky Boy Shane, Sackman Mario, and Falling Monk. Get the hell out of here.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, that was it. We're out. Nice. Nope. Hey guys, they moved my thank you OBS. Goodbye for real.